to be swinging till the night falls. Are you a slave and entertainer till the fun dies? I hope you're ready to be swinging till the sunrise. Flame the family waiver, stains the flame with flavor. The kind of pain that you complain about and learn to savor. A mystic walk beside that sadistic sakura. Kinda wish to talk with ya before me at the top of your head. I'm not just sensei, but I've been saying since I began this soul sentence. Centuries of repentance, past tense or reservations. Now I stand in defense of this relentlessly intense advice, not lacking suspense. And guess the fuck what, ladies and gents, I'm not even spent. I'll gladly live inside your head, but who the fuck is my rents? It ain't me, right? So what you gotta do about it, sucker? Cause while we say the same shit, the doers fight each other. You wanna stake your life on any of this? There's plenty of spite to steal your nerves and feel the burn. The training starts tonight. Welcome to the mountaintop. Those your fans who can't stop. Throws my hands up stating the obvious. Probably the endless sloppy. Give me action. Sick katana slash and slick. But where's your passion? Miss? I'm only asking. Truthfully, I'll lose the heat when seeing no traction. But it must be how you're waxing. So trust me, stop relaxing. Your stance isn't wolf average. I'm savage cause I care. And you can take it or leave it. Rip and stare. You swear to make me believe it. Silent wheel, strike to kill. Shinobi like to be pride or skill. What's the deal? His hands already weak. Let this blood be melted iron, but I still be like what? You'll get somebody that perspective that you sense as a slaughter. Cause with devotion to the mission, straight devour the weak. An ocean full of competition, get your actions to speak. You can't be strong if you give up from just a miss in your streak. They'll say so long with the sight of the southern I like. Kiss on my cheek, oh yes me. Send them away, Death Sensei. No ambition, try again next week. Welcome to the mountaintop. Wait until the fight calls. I hope you're ready to be swinging till the night falls. Are you a slave and entertainer till the fun dies? I hope you're ready to be swinging till the sunrise. Need a throne that's eloquent. As soon as your body starts bleeding, you'll say goodbye to glory next to loud and never succeeding. So if you'd like to flip the story and that heart is still beating, I challenge you to stay connected, simply follow my leading. You want to balance following and start creating, stop tweeting. This ain't me hating, I'm just bored from all the talkers I'm beating and getting sick of marching endlessly from excuses I'm reading. But man, shit, knowing the tendencies, it's no use, you're never leaving. Sign up then, you whine about it, get in line, the stage is crowded. I can now supply you with this tough love, good luck without it. Welcome to the mountaintop, where we make the bodies drop. Naughty boys and girls get chopped up into diamonds, open shop. Cop the decent crop of followers, all those asking me how. This bought the name, the fame, start shaming, raising they breath. Like easy for you to say, a little bit company higher. As if these moves did not take heartache and these tracks did not fire. As if this back did not break over and over, I near expire. As if a million skeletons hit that subscribe for satire. And though this hell is 10 times hotter than the start I inspired. The God and death, the light of drawn my last breath and pieced out to retired. When it gets down to the wire, just to survive, are they the lives or sell their souls or those who dedicate their lives? I ask you, pick up the sword and swing into it. Is unbearable and wear your scars with dignity when raising something shareable. The strong, the safe, the terrible. Progress in these eyes, expect no less than or shaking when these deadbeats rise. Deadbeats swinging now, grab the scythe and show them how. Welcome to the mountaintop, wait until the fight calls. I hope you're ready to be swinging till the night falls. Are you a slave and entertainer till the fun dies? I hope you're ready to be swinging till the sunrise. Flame the family waiver, stains the flame with flavor. The kind of pain that you complain about and learn to savor. A mystic walk beside the sadistic sakura. Kinda wish to talk with you, bore me and it's off with your heads.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another stream. So today, Google's doing their big show, so I'm really curious to see what in the hell they're going to announce, because they said that basically they're going to make like a super significant announcement. So I'm like, I wonder what that could be. Because normally during these events it would basically be like, okay, new version of Android, and then maybe a device. So yeah, I have no idea what they might do that's like really significant. All I know for sure is there was a leak that they accidentally like published a tweet talking about new Pixel Buds, but that ain't really that significant. And then there's rumors that they may show off the next Pixel phone, which is kind of weird if so, because usually they wouldn't do that until like October. Also, did that just say Blob Opera? Oh my god! If like, did they actually bring back the blobs for some? Oh my god! What in the hell? Or is it just called the Blob Opera? Is that like the name of their band or something? Definitely not how I expected this to start. I mean, I get it's a pre-show, but like a music performance, really? But yeah, I guess it does give me time to talk a bit about other things. So one other rumor is that they may finally show off Fuchsia, which basically is like an open source OS they've been working on like in the public, but not really announced. So it's like nobody really knows what the hell it's going to be. It's like it could be replacement for Android, it could be replacement for Chrome OS, it could be both. It could be something entirely different. Nobody knows, but like everybody's saying, this might finally be the year that they actually talk about it, because somebody in their Git repository, I think, said it was like coming soon. So, oh, machine learning music experiment. Okay, that makes sense why they'd be showing it. So, yeah. Let me actually adjust these captions here. I like to keep the captions on for things like this, but I can probably move them here. Okay, down a bit. Yeah, that way they're not covering that. So yeah, basically, possibly Fuchsia, possibly new Pixel phone, definitely Pixel Buds, definitely Android 12 beta probably dropping today. Any other new hardware? I don't know if they would. Try to think what else here. Probably a shit ton of Google Assistant features, like always. Um, hmm. Oh yeah, and then like a lot of the sessions they're doing for developers mention Android Wear. Well, Wear OS. I can never get used to the new name, but essentially their smartwatch platform hasn't really been a big focus for years now. Like a lot of apps like just straight up drop support for it, even like Google's official one. So like if they're having a lot of sessions about this year, hopefully that means like a big overhaul and they're finally gonna support the damn thing. Some sessions were about like big screen devices, so maybe a return to tablets. Or that could mean TV or Chromebooks even, so who knows about that. Although interestingly, they did a few weeks ago announce something called Entertainment Space for tablets, which basically replaces the news feed on the left side of the home screen with basically the Google TV interface. So, and that's like the first like big tablet focused thing they've done in a while. So, you know, with the big screen thing, that could possibly mean tablets. I will say the music's actually not terrible. Definitely not necessarily my type of music, but actually pretty good. And I do actually kind of like the set that they got going on here. Okay, that's interesting. So yeah, that's the machine learning part, I guess. So it's a scam man, I guess now. But yeah, that's actually a pretty cool showcase of the technology. Automatically generating all these voices. It actually sounds like really good voices too. Okay, so I guess it's got more than one song. Yeah, to be honest, if I knew the pre-show was basically just going to be this, I probably would have not started the stream for the pre-show. Oh, you're not hearing? Oh, god damn it. Seriously? All this time I didn't have music. Well, I mean, I guess technically that probably wasn't a bad thing because, I mean, obviously I had no idea if the music is even copyright claimable, so the fact that it was muted might have actually been a good thing, but obviously, oh well. That animation. But no, as I was saying, like, it's not bad music, though. Like, definitely not my cup of tea, per se, but, like, it definitely is a cool showcase of them using machine learning to automatically generate the background singers. But yeah, I can't understand anything they were saying, basically, if it wasn't for the captions. But yeah, no, as I was saying, though, like, if I knew the pre-show is mostly just gonna be music, I probably wouldn't have tuned into the pre-show, because I figured, oh, it might actually be, like, devs talking and about some interesting things. Or, like, smaller announcements, you know, that they don't want to fit in the main show. So, yeah, just the music performance. It's like, music ain't bad, but not really something I had to stream. Hello. So, are you actually a bot, or are you just somebody who has a name bot? Hello. Yeah, just waiting here for the actual show to start. Yeah, to be honest, I don't know if there will be Pixel info because, like, rumors are like, oh, they might show the Pixel 6, but, like, they always announce that, like, late October-ish, whatever, so... It's like, it would be very weird for them to announce it now. But, I mean, who knows with the pandemic and shit, they could have completely shifted their schedules, so... It's like the only thing really Pixel that we know for sure is the Pixel Buds, but nothing about a phone has leaked or anything, so... Well, those weren't leaked renders, those were somebody, like, making their own renders. But the camera spec then I didn't see at all, so I don't know. Well, then even if those were legit, like, renders, not like fan-made or whatever, there's always the fact that, you know, that could still be for a later in the year thing, because, I mean, the Pixel 4a, I think, leaks, like, really damn hard, you know, like, for months before it was even announced officially, so... Just because it leaked now doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be announced, but you never know. Yeah, it's like all we really know for sure is the Pixel Buds that they accidentally leaked in one of their own tweets. Android 12 obviously is going to be shown, and the beta's probably going to drop today. And then there's a lot of sessions that mention Wear, so probably a watch platform overhaul, and possibly a Pixel Watch. And then lastly, they said there's going to be significant announcements today, so obviously that could mean something huge like a Pixel, for instance, but honestly, the current, like, Pixel, at least with, like, the low-end ones, the, like, 3A and 4A actually have been, like, really good phones. Definitely not as bland, you know, as the, like, higher-end ones, to be honest. Like, the higher-end ones, it's just, like, they're not really that great, like, of a value or anything, but... But yeah, as for, like, the whole Pixel Watch thing, to be honest, I have no idea what in the hell they would do for that, because they did just buy Fitbit, so they could, you know, essentially be like, oh, the new Wear platform is actually based on Fitbit stuff instead of Android. Who knows? Or it could be, you know, Fitbit's platform only, or it could be still be a Wear OS watch. Like, who knows what direction they would go. And then there's also the fact of, well, now they own Fitbit, so are they going to shut down Google Fit? Rebrand Fitbit to Google Fit and replace the current one? Who knows? Or I guess they could always just drop the Fitbit smartwatches and only keep the fitness trackers under the Fitbit brand. And then, you know, the smartwatches would now be, you know, Wear OS Pixel watches. I mean, to be honest, I don't think the music is that bad, not really to my taste, but it's not terrible. And I mean, the fact that it's all, like, being machine learning generated is actually pretty cool. But yeah, to be honest, we probably didn't need a 20-minute pre-show for it. Like when I saw, oh, they're doing a pre-show, like I figured, oh, we might talk to some devs and stuff or something, not, 20 minutes of music. And they're not even the good type of blobs, too. They really should have used, like, their blob emotes. Yeah, I will say their eyes do actually kind of creep me out a bit. Hello there. To be honest, probably not, because they tried, like, with Daydream View or whatever, and that didn't really work that well. So, and they then abandoned the VR platform entirely, so I doubt they're going to jump back in anytime soon. To be honest, I think more likely would be they would do like some AR thing, like glasses, which I mean, they did do Google Glass in the past. They could possibly bring that back now that's a more acceptable thing, I guess, nowadays. As long as they actually make them look like glasses, unlike what Google Glass actually looked like. Hello there. Yeah, I mean, it's a thing that, like, everybody's been working on. Like, obviously, Apple's supposedly working on theirs and stuff, so it's like, it wouldn't surprise me if Google was gonna do one, during this event, but who knows. Okay, so now the show is gonna start.
Thank you so much to Blob Opera for performing.
Oh, I've completely forgot to delete that thing.
Thank you to Google Arts and Culture for having us, and we just hope you have a wonderful I/O. Thanks.
Yeah, no longer use that source. I probably should have removed that timer. Oh, they're going with retrospective intro.
And leave it at the collection bin in the back of the room.
Yeah, that's a big help for people to figure out just
I
how.
already have it started.
We do have a limited supply of CDs.
It's literally playing right now.
I'm going to be talking to you today about HTML5.
Nothing brings joy to my heart more than robotic androids dancing and singing.
Yeah, the video quality on these old clips.
Good morning. This is Google I/O.
I am thrilled to be here.
At the Shoreline Amphitheater.
This is the coolest thing.
Excited about the future and what's coming.
You can build with the community.
We want to give you the tools to create entirely new technological capabilities.
This is the tattoo.
Good, right?
There's always endless discoveries. It's great to have a platform you can get to new outcomes.
Things previously thought to be impossible
Finally, I'm here.
may in fact be possible.
I hope you all find some inspiration to keep building for everyone.
Oh, they're doing it outdoors. That's actually interesting. Yeah, please don't mention viewer numbers. I really don't want to know about viewers.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be back at I/O. We are coming to you live from our campus here in Mountain View. Of course, it's not quite the same without our developer community sitting here in person.
I love they just got lounge chairs.
Of the times we are living in. The pandemic has brought us together in a shared experience for more than a year. But now we are seeing that common experience.
Yeah, you really don't need to say everything that's happening on the stream in the chat.
Live their lives again as cases decline. Other places like Brazil and my home country of India are going through their most difficult moments yet. We are thinking of you and hoping for better days ahead. COVID-19 has deeply affected every community. It's also inspired coordination between public and private sectors and across international borders. At Google, we launched products and initiatives to help one another through this time, to help students and teachers continue their learning from anywhere, to help small businesses adapt and grow, and to get emergency relief and vaccines to communities in need. We work closely with many nonprofit organizations around the globe, and you can go to the link behind me to support their excellent work. At Google, the most fundamental way we help is by providing access to high-quality information. Authoritative information from 170 public health organizations around the world, including the CDC, the FDA, and the WHO. We're also focused on helping people find accurate information about vaccines, including the hours and locations for vaccine sites in many countries on Google Maps and Search. COVID-related information has been viewed hundreds of billions of times across our products and platforms. It continues to help people make decisions and keep their families safe. I/O has always been a celebration of technology and its ability to improve lives. And I remain optimistic that technology can help us address the challenges we face together. So in that spirit, let's get started. At Google, the past year has given renewed purpose to our mission to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. We continue to approach that mission with a singular goal, building a more helpful Google for everyone.
I mean, to be honest, that is a good thing, though. Like, should know about,
It means giving you the tools to increase your knowledge.
like anything that anybody could do to, help, stop the virus, I guess. But I mean,
about helping in little moments that add up.
But I mean, it's just like a little preamble they're going to get at the beginning, because of course they are.
150,000
So yeah.
kilometers of bike lanes in Google Maps. We're also introducing 2 new features. First, new eco-friendly routes. Using our understanding.
And yeah, already new features.
Google Maps will soon give you the option to take the most fuel-efficient route. At scale, this has potential to significantly reduce car emissions and fuel consumption. Second, safer routing. Powered by AI, maps can identify road, weather, and traffic conditions where you're likely to have to suddenly brake. We aim to reduce up to 100 million of these events every year.
Pretty interesting use of AI. I will say it's kind of weird watching this live because I'm so used to not streaming this. So I usually just play it back on like 2x speed to try to watch it faster. So it's like so slow.
With Google Classroom, or keeping students connected with affordable laptops. Chromebooks are now the #1 device globally in K-12 education. In Japan, 40% of local governments chose to deploy Chromebooks to every child in grades 1 through 9. And here in California, we worked with the Department of Education to provide thousands of Chromebooks to students in need. One of the biggest ways we can build a more helpful Google for everyone is by reimagining the future of work. We have seen work transform in unprecedented ways, and it is no longer just a place. Over the last year, offices and coworkers have been replaced by kitchen countertops and pets. With so many people now working from home, access to collaboration tools has never been more critical. In 2006, we introduced Docs and Sheets to help people to collaborate in real time.
Damn, already been that long ago.
All of this is now part of Google Workspace, which builds on more than 15 years of creating ways to work together. Today, we are announcing a new experience in Google Workspace to enable richer collaboration.
Okay.
We call this Smart Canvas. And to tell you more, here is Javier.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely not something I expected to see at Google I/O, to be honest. Like, I don't think they've ever talked about, like, docs and stuff at I/O before.
Thanks, Sundar. And good morning, everybody. With Smart Canvas, we're bringing together the content and connections that transform collaboration into...
Also, yeah, those are basically Discord reactions there.
For over a decade, we've been pushing documents away from being just digital pieces of paper and toward collaborative, linked content inspired by the web. Smart Canvas is our next big step. Let's see how a distributed team uses Smart Canvas to plan an important marketing campaign. The launch date is just 2 months away, so Adu starts a document and quickly adds a brainstorm table. With app mentions, he pulls in the right people.
Okay, so basically, this is just Google Wave 2.0.
These simple actions connect the team's plan to people, dates, and tasks, making their collaboration richer and more effective.
It's like basically documents with mentions and
now that he's shared the document, everyone starts
built-in like apps essentially that you can import into your document. It's like that's basically Google Wave, what Google Wave was.
Chairman to chairperson in the document to avoid a gendered term. New assisted writing capabilities in Google Workspace offer suggestions so you can communicate more effectively. Not only are we helping with language suggestions, we're also making it easy to bring the voices and faces of your team directly into the collaboration experience to help them share ideas and solve problems together. Up to now, Adu and his team have been collaborating in the doc and scheduling separate Google Meet calls to review their progress. But starting today, you can easily present the doc, sheet, or slide you're working on directly into a Google Meet call.
Yeah, to be honest, why have they not done that before? Like, that seemed like something that would have been such a common sense thing to have.
Bring Meet directly into docs, sheets, and slides for the first time. This will enable teams like Adu's to actually see and hear each other while they're collaborating. Now, they'll never skip a beat. And to keep that collaboration flowing in the meeting, the team used the new responsive voting table to see which ideas for the campaign are the most popular ones. With all the progress they've made together, Adu's initial document has evolved into a highly interactive, always up-to-date, actionable plan. And the team stayed connected every step of the way. That's the power of Smart Canvas. 2 months later, it's time to launch the new campaign. Adu and his team are joining from offices, from home, and everywhere in between, connecting across time zones and
Yeah, I definitely wonder how much of this is coming to like personal Google Docs, because they did say specifically workplace. So it might be like a enterprise business only thing.
in Google Meet. Companion mode gives each of Adu's teammates in the office their own video tile, so they can stay connected to their remote colleagues and everyone can participate in polls, chat, and Q&A in real time. Companion mode is coming to Google Meet later this year. Teammates can also be heard wherever they work with noise cancellation powered by the best of Google's AI. And machine learning in Google Meet to automatically adjust camera zoom and lighting, ensuring that everyone can be seen across all environments. We've also made it easier to customize views and share content so teams can focus on what matters most in the moment. This means that when Adu presents to the rest of his team, he can easily arrange people's faces to gauge their reactions while staying focused on his content. And his colleagues across the globe can follow along with live captions, even translations.
Okay, yeah, having live caption built in is actually pretty damn good.
When Adu finishes his presentation, he doesn't feel separated by time zones or languages or the devices his team is using. Instead, with Google Meet's immersive experience, he feels connected and in the moment. With Smart Canvas and these powerful enhancements to Google Meet, we're transforming collaboration in Google Workspace to help people succeed at work, at home, and in the classroom. Previously, the fully integrated experience in Google Workspace was available only to our customers, but it will soon be available to everyone.
Okay, yeah.
To small businesses, to friends and neighbors wanting to stay connected and get more done together.
So, okay, so yeah, that's basically the change they're announcing today, mostly, is that Workspace is now available for all. It's not just for businesses.
Thanks, Javier. Those were exciting examples of how computer science and AI can make us more helpful across our products. Google Search was built on the insight that understanding links between web pages leads to dramatically better search results. We've made remarkable advances over the past 22 years, and search helps billions of people. And to improve search even further, we need to deepen our understanding of language and context. To do this requires advances in the most challenging areas of AI. And I want to talk about a few today, starting with translation. We learn and understand knowledge best in our native languages. So 15 years ago, we set out to translate the web, an incredibly ambitious goal at the time. Today, hundreds of millions of people use Google Translate each month across more than 100 languages. Last month alone, we translated more than 20 billion web pages in Chrome. With Google Assistant's interpreter mode, you can have a conversation with someone speaking.
Honestly, the best translate feature is the live camera translation.
From just a year ago. While there is still work to do, we are getting closer to having a universal translator in your pocket. At the same time, advances in machine learning have led to tremendous breakthroughs in image recognition. In 2014, we first trained a production system to automatically label images, a step change in computers' understanding of visual information. And it allowed us to imagine and launch Google Photos. Today, we can surface and share a memory, reminding you of some of the best moments in your life. Last month alone, more than 2 billion memories were viewed. Image recognition also means you can use Google Lens to take a photo of a math problem. Wish I had this when I was in school. Lens is used more than 3 billion times each month. We can now be as helpful with images.
Yeah, to be honest, even if I had that back in school, they probably wouldn't have allowed it because you weren't allowed to have your phones out. So you had to have an old school calculator, even if your phone had a calculator. So
conversations in Google Meet, and why live caption on Android can automatically caption anything running on your smartphone locally. It generates 250,000 hours of captioning every day. Breakthrough technology from DeepMind called WaveNet increased the quality of computer-generated speech, leading to more natural and fluid interactions. WaveNet allowed us to create and deploy 51 voices across Google Assistant. Together, the advances in AI I just spoke about across translation, images, and voice improve the search experience for billions of
okay, so what's the next leap now?
also enabled us to make a huge leap forward in how computers process natural language. In 2017, we first introduced the world to transformers, a novel machine learning approach for better natural language understanding. Transformers became the foundation for many other breakthroughs, like AlphaFold and BERT, which we introduced in 2019. BERT considers the full context of a word by looking at the words that come before and after, leading to one of our most significant quality improvements across Google search, and enabling us to respond to queries with more helpful answers. In this case, realizing that the question was about parking on a hill without a curb. We have revolutionized the ability of computers to understand natural language. Yet, despite the incredible power of computers, there are still moments like this.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Yeah.
This is because language is endlessly complex. We use it to tell stories, crack jokes, and share ideas. We continuously pull from concepts we've learned over the course of our lives. The richness and flexibility of language make it one of humanity's greatest tools and one of computer science's greatest challenges. If someone asks me if the temperature in the room is okay, and I say I'm freezing, they know that I'm very cold, not literally freezing. Or if someone says, "What's the weather like today?" I don't respond, "It's 70 degrees, sunny, and a 12% chance of rain." I'd probably say, "It's starting to feel like summer. I might eat lunch outside." Sensible responses keep conversations going and allow them to end up in a completely different place from where they started. Even if I began by talking about the weather, we may end up talking about football. Today, I'm excited to share our latest breakthrough in natural language understanding, Lambda. It's a language model for dialogue applications, and it's open domain, which means it's designed to converse on any topic. And while it's still in research and development, we've been using it internally to explore novel interactions. For example, say you wanted to learn about one of my favorite planets, Pluto. Lambda already understands quite a lot about Pluto and millions of other topics. Let's listen to a conversation the team had with Pluto a few days ago.
I'm so curious about you.
I sense your excitement. Ask me anything.
Tell me what I would see if I visited.
You would get to see a massive canyon, some frozen icebergs, geysers, and some craters.
It sounds beautiful.
I assure you it is worth the trip. However, you need to bring your coat, because it gets really cold.
I'll keep that in mind. Hey, I was wondering, have you ever had any visitors?
Yes, I have had some. The most notable was New Horizons.
So like, if this actually like works, then this actually is pretty big. But this does seem like a very scripted demo.
I also sent them back a picture of myself since I had not been seen up close before.
More like a proof of concept than it actually running.
What else do you wish people knew about you?
I wish people knew that I am not just a random ice ball. I am actually a beautiful planet.
Well, I think you're beautiful.
I am glad to hear that. I don't get the recognition I deserve. Sometimes people refer to me as just a dwarf planet.
Don't let it bother you. You're amazing.
But this whole scenario is kind of weird. Like, why would you be talking to a planet?
Anytime, I am always open for people to chat. I hope you have a great day.
I spent some time with my son conversing with Pluto, and it's magical. We had a lot of fun learning about space together. Let's break down what made it feel so natural. First, learn concepts. As you saw, the model talked about the New Horizons spacecraft and the coldness of space. Lambda synthesized these concepts from its training data. These concepts were not hand-programmed in the model. Because none of the responses were predefined, Lambda answered with sensible responses, keeping the dialogue open-ended. Natural conversations are generative, and they never take the same path twice. And Lambda is able to carry a conversation no matter what we talk about. You can have another conversation without retraining the model. Let's see what happened when we talked to a paper airplane.
Okay.
What's it like being thrown through the air?
It's quite the experience, actually. The wind blowing against you, and the trees flying past are quite the sight. You never know where you'll land either.
What's the worst place you've ever landed?
That would have to be in a puddle.
Of all the things I expected to see today, definitely not having conversations with inanimate objects.
Oh, that sounds awful. Were you able to fly again?
Thankfully, I was. I had a few minor injuries to my wing, but you can't really tell unless you know what to look for.
What's the secret to a really good paper airplane?
Well, my good friend, I must first ask you to specify what you mean by good. Some may think it's how far it goes, some may think it's how straight it goes, and some may think it's how flat it lands. So what do you think?
I care the most about distance.
Then I would have to say a nice wide wingspan is what you'll want. Also, the paper needs to be really firm.
What's the farthest you've ever flown?
I've flown over about 1,500 feet. The wind was perfect that day.
Wow, that's really far. That must have been quite a throw.
It was. I was actually thrown from a hot air balloon, believe it or not.
That's so cool. What did the world look like from out there?
I will say though, this is actually an interesting sounding voice. Like, I don't think Google Assistant currently has a voice like this at all.
It really puts things into perspective.
Yeah, it's important to keep perspective. Hey, I'm wondering, do you have anything you want to share with the people that are watching at home?
I do. I just want them to know that if the wind is perfect, and you're made of the right materials, you can go absolutely anywhere.
It's really impressive to see how Lambda can carry on a conversation about any topic. It's amazing how sensible and interesting the conversation is.
So, what would be really interesting is if they show it off live, so we can know for sure, like, they're not basically using like a perfectly, stable demo kind of scenario.
Flips, or playing fetch with its favorite ball, the moon. Other times, it just doesn't keep the conversation going. At Google, we have been researching and developing language models for many years. We have focused on ensuring Lambda meets our incredibly high standards on fairness, accuracy, safety, and privacy. So from concept all the way to design, we are making sure it's developed consistent with our AI principles. We believe Lambda's natural conversation capabilities have the potential to make information and computing radically more accessible and easier to use. We look forward to incorporating better conversational features into products like Google Assistant, Search, and Workspace. We're also exploring how to give capabilities to developers and enterprise customers. Lambda is a huge step forward in natural conversation, but it is still trained only on text. When people communicate with each other, they do it across images, text, audio, and video. So we need to build models that allow people to naturally ask questions across different types of information. These are called multimodal models. Let's say we want a model to recognize all facets of a road trip. That could mean the words road trip written or spoken in any language, images, sounds, and videos, and concepts associated with road trips, such as weather and directions. So you can imagine one day planning a road trip and asking Google to find a route with beautiful mountain views. You can also use this to search for something within a video. For example, when you say, "Show me the part where the lion roars at sunset," we will get you to that exact moment in a video.
Okay, yeah, so that definitely seems like more useful use of the technology than just talking to objects, but
Later on in the keynote, you'll hear from Prabhakar.
to be honest, like, that's technically something you could kind of do already. Like, maybe not have the AI automatically figure it out, but you could basically
Translation.
be like, oh yeah, let's pull data from the source that says this is the paths with the best views or whatever. Yeah.
All of this work laid the foundation for complex models like Lambda and multimodal. Our compute infrastructure is how we drive and sustain these advances, and tensor processing units are a big part of that. Today, I'm excited to announce our next generation, the TPU V4.
Okay.
These are powered by the V4 chip, which is more than twice as fast as the V3 chip.
That actually does bring up something that I didn't mention, is like, the rumor is the Pixel 6 is going to have the first, like, Google developed silicon in a phone, so them talking about Google developed silicon right here seems like it could possibly be a gateway to that.
Scale compared to any other networking technology.
So granted, it's server chips, but I mean,
V4 pod to deliver more than 1 exaflop, 10 to the 18th power floating point operations per second of computing power. Think about it this way. If 10 million people were on their laptops right now, then all of those laptops put together would almost match the computing power of 1 exaflop. This is the fastest system we've ever deployed at Google, and a historic milestone for us. Previously, to get an exaflop, you needed to build a custom supercomputer, but we already have many of these deployed today, and we'll soon have dozens of TPU V4 pods in our data centers, many of which will be operating at or near 90% carbon-free energy. And our TPU V4 pods will be available to our cloud customers later this year. It's tremendously exciting to see this pace of innovation. As we look further into the future, there are types of problems that classical computing will not be able to solve in a reasonable time. Quantum computing represents a fundamental shift because it harnesses the properties of quantum mechanics and gives us the best chance of understanding the natural world. Achieving our quantum milestone was a tremendous accomplishment, but we are still at the very beginning of a multi-year journey. One problem we face today is that our physical qubits are very fragile. Even cosmic rays from outer space can destroy quantum information. To solve more complex problems, our next milestone is to create an error-corrected logical qubit. It's simply a collection of physical qubits stable enough to hold quantum information for a long period of time. We start by reducing the error rate of our physical qubits, then combining 1,000 physical qubits to create a single logical qubit, and then scaling that up to 1,000 logical qubits, at which point we will have created an error-corrected quantum computer. Today, we are focused on enabling scientists and developers to access beyond classical computational resources. But we hope to one day create an error-corrected quantum computer. And success could mean everything from increasing battery efficiency to creating more sustainable energy to improved drug discovery and so much more. The roadmap begins in our new data center, which we are calling the Quantum AI Campus. Let's step inside. Michael, are you there?
Hey, Sundar, how's it going? Yeah, I'm here, and I'm excited to learn why I'm here, and I'm guessing that's why he's here.
Hey, Michael.
Hey.
I'm Eric, lead engineer here. I'd like to welcome you to one of the most powerful quantum computing facilities in the world.
Oh, thank you, thank you. What's this? Can I touch it?
Yeah, that's a quantum processor. And inside are these actual physical qubits.
Oh, hey, little guy.
Qubits are the fundamental building blocks of quantum
and it's like, oh yeah, it can be destroyed just by race on the side, and then he just picks it up and grabs it like it's nothing. It's like, yeah, no, you probably got to damage everything.
environment doesn't include like Cheeto dust. So I'm just going to put this
no,
puppy
it
right
doesn't.
back.
Yeah.
Thanks. Let me show you where the clean ones go.
Cool.
So we built this campus to inspire all of our quantum mechanics and to show the world what the future of computing looks like.
Good for you, dude. Look at you, dude.
Thanks.
That's a cool lamp.
It's not a lamp. This is actually a cryostat, and you're looking at the inside of a quantum computer.
Wow, cryostat. I love that word, cryostat. I'm guessing people want to know what makes a cryostat a cryostat. Eric?
Well, everything you see here, from the wiring to the aluminum, copper, and gold metal stages, have been chosen to create a cold and quiet environment for our quantum processors to operate.
Right. And in English?
It's a fridge for our qubits.
Right. And
Yeah.
what are we talking about?
We approach near absolute zero, 10 millikelvin to be precise.
Wow.
Which means that parts of our lab are some of the coldest places in the universe.
Wow, colder than Canada?
Yeah, colder than Canada. Well, it's not just temperature that's important. In fact, we want to remove all distractions from our qubits.
Right.
Including unwanted electrical and magnetic signals.
Yeah. Who wants that, right?
Yeah, so, like, is this guy, like, an actor or something? Because, like, yeah, kind of,
This is a cryostat.
Nice.
In fact, this is a fully assembled quantum computer.
Yeah, so where's the keyboard?
Well, there's no keyboard, but it contains everything you've just seen inside and custom control electronics, all of which were designed and built by our team here at Google.
Wait. Is this a Bob Ross? Is he on the team? Tell me he's on the team.
He's not on the team.
Okay.
But this mural is our homage to Mother Nature. See, quantum is the
yeah, obviously, he's not on the team, he's dead. Like, but,
unlocking answers that would otherwise remain unknown.
Okay, so let me see if I get this right. Okay, so these qubits are really smart, right? But they're really picky about their work environment. So you got to put them in a lamp, right? But even then, they're like, no, I don't want anybody eating any Cheetos around me. And they're like, I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't know, right? So then you got to wrap them in like this Bob Ross blanket of love, right? And then you
what
keep
the
them
hell?
until they can tell us how to think like the Earth. Am I right?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Okay, you know what this is? This is the power button. I want to start it.
We're not quite there yet. I'm glad you're on board.
Okay.
To date, we've reached the first milestone, beyond classical computational capabilities.
This is us.
Yeah, we're here. Everything you've seen here today is what we're using to build to our next milestone, an error-corrected logical qubit.
Right.
And from there, we'll tile thousands of those together to reach our ultimate goal, an error-corrected quantum computer.
Right. That's my goal too.
Well, you're in luck. We're building a team to assemble all the right ingredients, all right here in the Quantum AI campus that you just helped us unveil. So thank you very much, Michael.
No, you know what? Thank you. And thank you for everyone that's joining us.
so basically, this segment is more of an ad saying, hey, join us, so we can build this.
Cryostat, right? And melon chilies. Sundar, it was a pleasure doing science with you.
It was a pleasure doing science with you too, Michael. We recognize that building an error-corrected quantum computer will be incredibly challenging. But solving hard problems and advancing the state of the art is how we build the most helpful products. At Google, we know that our products can only be as helpful as they are safe. And advances in computer science and AI are how we continue to make them better. We keep more users safe by blocking malware, phishing attempts, spam messages, and potential cyber attacks than anyone else in the world. And our focus on data minimization pushes us to do more with 2 years ago at I.O., I announced Auto Delete, which encourages
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
data automatically and continuously deleted. We have since made Auto Delete the default for all new Google accounts. Now, after 18
So,
months,
they're gonna announce,
delete
yeah.
the data unless you
I'm assuming they're gonna announce that they're gonna make it the default for all existing accounts too, instead of just new ones.
all our products are guided by 3 important principles. With one of the world's most advanced security infrastructures, our products are secure by default. We strictly uphold responsible data practices, so every product we build is private by design. And we create easy-to-use privacy and security settings so you are in control. I'd like to invite Jen on stage to share some examples of how we apply these principles and make every day safer with Google.
Okay, so now it seems like we're getting to the more consumer-focused area of stuff. After that very long talk about AI.
Thanks, Sundar. We believe that protecting your privacy starts with the world's most advanced security. It seems like every day we hear about another cyber attack that puts emails and personal data at risk. To keep our users safe, everything we build is secure by default. Each of our products is...
Yeah, I'm assuming they're going to mention the change they just announced like a week ago, whereas like everybody's going to be two-factor auth enabled by default now.
Google Photos encrypts...
As long as you have a phone connected to your account, obviously.
Run security scans on 100 billion installed apps around the world. But the single most common security vulnerability today is still bad passwords. Consumer research has shown that 2/3 of people admit to using the same password across accounts, which multiplies their risk. Ultimately, we're on a mission to create a password-free future. That's why no one is doing more than we are to advance phone-based authentication. And in the meantime, we're focused on helping everyone use strong, unique passwords for every account. Our password manager creates, remembers, saves, and autofills passwords for you.
Yeah.
It's already used by over 500 million people. But we want to free everyone from password pain. That's why today we're announcing 4 new upgrades that make our password manager more helpful. First, we're making it easier than ever to get started with a simple tool that imports passwords saved in other password managers. Next, we'll have deeper integration across both Chrome and Android, so your secure passwords go with you from sites to apps. Third, automatic password alerts will let you know if we detect any of your saved passwords have become compromised in a third-party breach. And lastly, what I'm especially excited about, a quick fix feature in Chrome, where the assistant will help you navigate directly
okay. That's actually good.
and change your passwords in seconds.
Because I know like a lot of password managers can do that for some websites, but it's still mostly manual. So like having an assistant automatically do it is interesting.
Another core principle is ensuring that each of our products is private by design. This means continuously making thoughtful decisions about when, how, and why data is used in our products, including data that's used for ads. Our principles drive us to draw a strict line between what's in and what's out. For example, we never sell your personal information to anyone. We never use the content you store in apps like Gmail, Photos, and Drive for ads purposes. And we never use sensitive information to personalize ads, like health, race, religion, or sexual orientation. It's simply off limits. And while we've always believed that ads play an important role in supporting a free and open web for everyone, we're equally committed to making the web more private and secure. Through the Open Source Privacy Sandbox initiative, we're collaborating with publishers, content creators, advertisers, and industry organizations like the W3C to develop new privacy-preserving solutions that will shape the future of online advertising. Making our products private by design also drives us to build groundbreaking computing technologies that enable personalized experiences while protecting your private information.
Like Flock.
One technology we've been pioneering is differential privacy, which allows large aggregated data sets while guaranteeing that your
But yeah, I think like Flock was just like massively misunderstood. Like it doesn't sound like it's that bad, but it was like, oh, it's Google, they want to track you, block.
Developers everywhere use
When it's like it's technically still better than cookies.
open source library of differentially private algorithms.
It's like ideally you'd want no tracking, but I mean obviously if that means you can't really, you know, have a free web would because they won't pay for ads.
Is federated learning.
It's like, you know.
In 2016. It enables machine learning models to be trained centrally without any raw data leaving your device.
So it's like having a more privacy secure tracking is better than no tracking and everything being paid, I guess. Yeah.
This is just one of the ways we build for privacy everywhere that computing happens.
Well, it's like, yeah, no, that dream is kind of dead simply because everybody jumped the gun and blocked it without even reading into it.
Private by design. We developed Android's Private Compute Core. It's uniquely open source and designed to privately process and protect sensitive data. It powers features like live caption, without sharing audio data with Google or any other apps. No one else offers this kind of technically enforced, verifiable privacy. And the Android team will be coming up in a bit to share more. These are just a few of the ways we're building the most advanced privacy-preserving technologies into our products to keep your data private, safe, and secure. We know that a big part of feeling safe online is having control over your data. Privacy is personal. So we build powerful privacy and security settings that let people choose what's right for them. You can find them in your Google account, which saw over 3 billion visits last year. We also know that some controls are most helpful when they're built right into the app, like when we added an incognito mode in Search, Maps, and YouTube. Today, we're announcing a few new controls that you'll see in our most popular apps.
Okay.
People tell us they sometimes wish they could easily delete the last thing they searched. And we heard you. So now, just tap your profile picture to access your menu.
Okay, that's pretty useful.
And immediately delete recent search history from your account. We're also working to make privacy controls more accessible in Maps. Now, when you see places you visited in your timeline, we'll remind
That's basically the you accidentally looked up porn without going in incognito button.
right there in your timeline. And lastly, we're rolling out locked folder in Photos. First on Google Pixels and coming to more Android devices throughout the year. Photos you add to this passcode-protected space are saved separately, so they won't show up as you scroll through Google Photos or any other apps on your device. This feature would have been helpful for me last year when we surprised our kids with a new puppy, and we needed to hide the photos before we brought Splash home. As Sundar said, there's nothing more important than keeping you safe online. Building products that are secure by default, private by design, and that give you control is how we ensure that every day you're safer with Google. Just as we've engineered advanced computing solutions to protect your privacy, we continue to think about future advances in AI and their potential for making our products even more helpful. Not surprisingly, so much of what we do starts with search. And next, you'll hear more about this from Prabhakar.
Okay, so we got some search updates now.
Thanks, Jen. Today, we are excited to share how our advances in AI are enabling us to understand the world more deeply than ever before, opening up helpful experiences for you across Google Search, Maps, Shopping, and Photos. Let's start with Search. 20 years ago, Google was just 10 blue links, connecting people to the information they needed from the millions of web pages out there.
That old school Google logo.
We've continued to innovate to understand new forms of information like images, videos, places, and more. All of this is in pursuit of our mission to make information accessible and useful. As Sundar mentioned, early research with Lambda and multimodality is pushing the boundaries of natural language understanding. And today, I'm excited to share how we'll be bringing some of these research advances to Google Search with a multitask unified model, or MUM, as we like to call it. Like BERT, it's built on the transformer architecture, but it turns up the dial.
Yeah, I will say so far, this is definitely not what I was expecting at all for Google I.O. Like, I mean, yeah, it wasn't going to be mostly consumer stuff usually anyway, but like, the fact that they haven't even got to Android yet is kind of surprising for being almost an hour in.
Here are a few tasks.
Android or Chrome or anything, it's basically just all been AI, security, and search.
It can understand language and generate it too. It can train across 75 languages at once.
It's like, they usually would start with that, but it usually only be like, maybe the first 20, 30 minutes, not the first hour.
Even more amazing, is that it's multimodal, which means it can simultaneously understand different forms of information like text, images, and videos. We've already started some internal pilots to see the types of queries it might be able to solve and the billions of topics it might help you explore. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say you're an avid hiker planning your next adventure. You might ask, I've hiked Mount Adams and now want to hike Mount Fuji next fall. What should I do differently to prepare? This is a question you could casually ask a friend, but search engines today can't answer it directly because it's so conversational and nuanced. Mom is changing the game. With its language understanding capabilities, it would know you're looking to compare two mountains and also understand that prepare could include things like fitness training for the terrain and hiking gear for fall weather. Then, it's able to surface useful insights based on its deep knowledge of the world. Here, it's highlighting that Mount Fuji is roughly the same elevation as Mount Adams, but fall is the rainy season on Mount Fuji, so you might need a waterproof jacket. It would also give you pointers to go deeper on topics, like how to prepare the right gear with articles, videos, and images from across the web. Now, a huge limitation of accessing information is the language it's written in. If there are insights about Mount Fuji in Japanese, you might not know they exist if you don't search in Japanese. But Mom can transfer language across multiple languages to give you a richer, more comprehensive answer. But it doesn't stop there. Because Mom is multimodal, it can understand different types of information simultaneously. So now imagine taking a photo of your hiking boots and asking, can I use these to hike Mount Fuji? Mom would be able to understand the content of the image and the intent behind your query, let you know that your hiking boots would just work fine, and then point you to a list of recommended gear in a Mount Fuji blog.
Yeah, so that's actually pretty big, you know, if they can manage to pull this off well.
While we're in the early days of exploring this new technology, we're excited about its potential to solve more complex questions.
But it's like, yeah, so far it's all basically just been concepts. Like, we don't know if they'll ever actually be able to pull it off.
Take Google Lens, which lets you search what you see from your camera, your photos, right from your search bar. Around the world, people use Lens to translate over 1 billion words every day. This translation feature has been especially useful for students, many of whom might be learning in a language they're less comfortable.
I mean, to be honest, I know what most people probably use it for, but yeah.
We're rolling out a new capability that combines visual translation with educational content from the web to help people learn in more than 100 languages. For instance, you can easily snap a photo of a science problem, and Lens will provide learning resources in your preferred language. Let's take a look at how a student in Indonesia is using this new feature.
Nama aku Siti Lutfisa, dipanggil Mamai. Aku kelas 9 SMP. Tentunya aku ingin menjadi ahli bahasa dan seorang dosen bahasa Inggris. Tapi kegiatan belajar di masa pandemi ini untuk aku sendiri agak lebih susah. Orang tuaku juga tidak bisa bahasa Inggris. Jadi, mereka tidak bisa bantu aku kalau kesulitan.
Dia tanya ke orang, ibu kurang paham.
Google Lens memudahkan kegiatan belajar di rumah. Misalnya aku mendapat tugas pelajaran matematik yang bertuliskan bahasa Inggris. Gak hanya translate, dari situ aku juga bisa terhubung dan langsung mencari tahu apa terjemahan dan solusi untuk mengerjakan pelajaran matematika itu. Untuk saat ini aku sedang berusaha keras untuk belajar.
Yes, I think that's a Pixel 3 or 3A.
Menggunakan pengetahuan saya untuk
Because yeah, it's definitely not the most recent ones because it doesn't have the hole punch camera.
Ya, senang, Ibu senang sekali belajar tidak pantang menyerah gitu.
It's always inspiring to see stories like Mamai's. And it brings to life the power of visual information, especially for learning. That's why we brought augmented reality to search 2 years ago at I/O to help you explore concepts visually up close and in your space. You might remember the shark that joined us on stage. Last year, when many
Forgot about the shark.
started sheltering in place, families around the world found joy in AR. From tigers to cars, people interacted with this
Yeah, to be
feature
honest,
200
I still am kind of waiting to see like a real true good use for AR.
the world's best athletes to AR. So you can see
Because it's like, so far it's like, oh, well, you can do something in your space, whatever, for fun, basically, and that's it. Like, there's not really that many good AR uses so far.
Naomi Osaka pulls off a 100.
Like, the only thing that's, like, been truly useful that I've seen is,
You can even see Simone
oh,
Biles,
what was it?
one of the most
Like, the real-time walking directions using Google Maps. Because it can actually show you, like, the arrow on the actual street.
version of herself.
And, like, all the places and businesses, so...
The first year I'm gonna Google.
But even that's still kind of like just a fancy way to display info that could be easily seen otherwise.
Okay, Simone Biles in 3D. And then you're gonna view in your space. You gotta scan the floor. Let's scan the area. Ooh, and she's here. Ah. That's yourself. Oh my gosh. She goes for the triple double. This is very accurate. I see all the details that I need to get back in the gym and work on. Nails it. That one, yeah. Simone Biles double dismount. Pops up anywhere. Wow, look at that. Let's turn her so we can see it from the front. It sounds just like you're in the arena. Go down to 5%, little one. Oh, there she is. Itsy bitsy Biles. That's the smallest triple double I've ever seen. We need to start competing in AR. It's much simpler. Saves the nerves.
No matter how many times I see that, I still think it's pretty incredible. Innovations like MOM, Lens, and AR are part of our quest to make information more helpful. But information is only helpful if it's trustworthy and reliable. The world is constantly changing. Getting access to reliable information is particularly critical during times like the pandemic or breaking news. It's in these moments and so many others that people turn to Google. At our foundation, we design our ranking systems to prioritize high-quality content. And for critical topics like COVID, we elevate information from expert sources. People come to Google to evaluate claims they've heard, whether that's in conversations with friends or something they read about online. Over the past year, searches for, is it true that, were even higher than how to bake bread. And that's saying something given last year's sourdough craze. We're building features that make it easier for you to evaluate the credibility of information right in Google search. One of the ways we're doing this is with About This Result, a feature we launched earlier this year that makes it easier to check the source. Just tap the 3 dots next to the search result to see the details about the website, including its description, when it was first indexed, and whether your connection to the site is secure. This context is especially important if it's a site you haven't heard of and want to learn more about it.
Okay, I mean, that is kind of a useful thing, but like nobody's gonna ever find it if it's hidden under a 3-dot menu. Then nobody's probably gonna click ever. So
Later this year, we're going to add even more detail, like how the site describes itself, what other sources are saying about it, and related articles to check out. This is part of our ongoing commitment to provide you with the highest.
that's kind of thing where it's like it's a somewhat useful feature, but it's so buried that nobody's gonna ever use it anyway. So
When we understand information, we can make it more helpful to you, whether that be information on the web, from your camera, or from the billions of places in the physical world. And to hear more about how AI is powering our most helpful map ever, here's Liz.
Okay, so we got some Google Maps stuff.
Thanks, Prabhakar. We're constantly working on new features to make maps more helpful for the more than 1 billion of you who use it every month. Advances in AI are helping us reimagine what a map can be. This year alone, we're on track to release more than 100 AI-driven improvements to give people richer and more contextual information about the world around them. Let me share just a few examples. We've seen how helpful AR can be to see how athletes perform their most impressive feats. 3 years ago, with Live View and Google Maps, we were the first ones to use AR at scale to help see where to go, with signs and arrows overlaid on the real world. Today, we're still the only company who has AR navigation and maps in more than 100 countries, from big cities to rural towns. So far, though, Live View has been focused on navigation to help you easily get from point A to point B. But now you can also use it to explore the world around you. You'll be able to access Live View right from the map and instantly see details about the shops and the restaurants around you, including how busy they are, recent reviews, and photos of those popular dishes. This is possible because we match what your camera sees, with millions of businesses sharing rich information on Google Maps. In addition, there are a host of new features coming to Live View later this year. First, we're adding prominent virtual street signs to help you navigate those complex intersections. Second, we'll point you towards key landmarks and places that are important for you, like the direction of your hotel. Third, we're bringing it indoors to help you get around some of the hardest to navigate buildings, like airports, transit stations, and malls. Indoor Live View will start rolling out in top train stations and airports in Zurich this week and will come to Tokyo next month. But AR isn't the only way we're bringing a whole new level of richness to Google Maps. We've heard from many of you that you'd like to have more granular information about your surrounding. That's why we're bringing you the most detailed street maps we've ever made. Take this image of Columbus Circle, one of the most complicated intersections in Manhattan. You can now see where the sidewalks, the crosswalks, the pedestrian islands are. Something that might be incredibly helpful if you're taking young children out on a walk, or absolutely essential if you're using a wheelchair. Thanks to our application of advanced AI technology on robust street view and aerial imagery, we're on track to launch detailed street maps in 50 new cities by the end of the year. Having access to rich information is useful, but it can also become overwhelming. So we're making the map more dynamic and more tailored, highlighting the most relevant information, exactly where.
But yeah, to be honest, this is something that's kind of useless for me because I literally never go anywhere. So I'd never need to use Google Maps.
While at 5 p.m.,
But yeah, it's all decent updates. That'd definitely be useful for some people.
And get more suggestions for similar spots with just a single tap. And if you're in a new city, we'll make it easier to find those local landmarks and tourist attractions right on the map. You'll start seeing this more tailored map in the coming weeks. And as you're planning your day, people have found it really useful, especially during this pandemic, to see how busy a place is before heading out. Now we're expanding this capability from specific places, like restaurants and shops, to neighborhoods with the feature called Area Busyness. Say you're in Rome and want to head over to the Spanish Steps and its nearby shops. With Area Busyness, you'll be able to understand at a glance.
Yeah, that's very useful.
The right time for you to go.
Although definitely not going to be, useful in most cities, to be honest.
And as you heard before, we use our industry-leading differential privacy techniques to protect anonymity.
Well, I mean, I guess if it's powered based off Android devices, that may work in most places. But it's like, if it's something that's like you need to be in a big safe for it to work well, yeah, it's not going to help for a lot of places.
Capabilities, making maps more detailed and tailored, and showing you how busy certain areas are, to help you make sense of the world all around you. All of this is possible because of our deep, deep commitment for over 16 years to build the world's most helpful map for people everywhere. That means mapping roads across more than 60 million kilometers, listing more than 1 billion buildings, creating a community of over 150 million local guides, and finally, applying the most advanced AI technology, all so you can have the most accurate, comprehensive, and detailed map wherever you live in the world, on any device, Android or iOS. Access to rich information is crucial, whether you're exploring a new neighborhood or trying to get things done. And over the past year, that's increasingly meant turning to Google to help you shop. To tell you more about how we're making it easier to shop online, from inspiration to action, here's Bill.
This is definitely the weirdest Google I/O I've ever seen. Like, I mean, yeah, it's understandable it'd be different because like COVID and stuff, but like, they're talking about a whole bunch of stuff that I would never expect them to usually talk about at Google I/O.
We're innovating to understand information.
Like Google Shopping, really?
We're doing this in a big way for shopping. More than 1 billion times a day, people are shopping across Google. And we're constantly working to make that experience better, whether you're browsing for inspiration or ready to buy. Now, let's talk about all of the ways we're innovating in shopping. Many of you are familiar with our knowledge graph, which revolutionized structured information about people, places, and things. We're now introducing the shopping graph.
The shopping graph.
Data set for billions of products and the merchants that sell them. Building on the knowledge graph, the shopping graph brings together information from websites, prices, reviews, videos, and most
So how many graphs are we gonna get, I guess?
we receive from brands and retailers directly. Because the shopping graph knows about so many products, we can connect users with over 24 billion listings to buy those items from millions of merchants across the web, helping you find more of what you're looking for from a broader range of sellers, and giving you just as much or more choice in the digital world as you have in the physical world. The best part is that the shopping graph spans across Google, making it easier to go from inspiration to purchase no matter where you are. Let's see how this comes to life across shopping moments, from Lens to Search, Photos, YouTube, and Chrome. As we all know, shopping inspiration often strikes when we see something we like in the world around us. And for these moments, Google Lens is awesome. It turns the world into your own personal showroom. For example, I was eating outside at a restaurant recently and really liked their patio furniture. So I opened my Google app, and right from the search bar, I could use Lens to find the exact set I was looking for, and similar items too. I showed the patio set to my daughter, but she didn't love it. So it was back to the drawing board. We did a bit more browsing together, starting with the Google Images tab on Search, where we see hundreds of millions of shopping searches each month. Thanks to the shopping graph, we could explore options from across the web to find what we liked, see that it was in stock, and check out with the retailer. I have this habit though. I'm constantly taking screenshots of products I like, but they usually end up buried in my photos. Here's one I've saved for a pair of sneakers I saw. But now, to solve for this, when you view any screenshots in Google Photos, there'll be a suggestion to search the photo with Lens. You'll see organic search results that can help you find that pair of shoes or browse similar styles. Then, once you have ideas, you probably want to do some research and might end up on YouTube. Earlier this year, we shared that we're building a new experience to make it easier to shop products you learn about from your favorite YouTube creators. That experience is in pilot now, so stay tuned for updates. And since we're talking about researching, I don't know about you, but I often jump around from site to site when I'm comparing products. And if I get distracted or close any tabs, it can be hard to keep track of items I've found. Soon on Chrome, when you open a new tab, you'll be able to see.
Yeah, I've seen this already.
Couple of weeks.
This is something they've had in the Canary channel for like a month or two now.
And a few things in my Lowe's cart.
I don't think it actually worked, but there was an option to enable a shopping module on the new tab page, so.
Here I can see Electronic Express is offering 10% off. Your personal information and what's in your carts are never shared with anyone externally without your permission. Now, once you're done research, we also want to help you get the best value. Coming soon, we'll use your favorite loyalty programs from merchants like Sephora and Target to show you the best purchase options. In this example, since you're a Sephora Beauty Insider, you already qualify for a promotion. And if you're not ready to buy, you can opt in for price drop notifications. Taking a step back, these experiences are only possible because of our vibrant community of retailers on Google. We're proud to take an open ecosystem approach that helps any merchant, both big and small, get discovered. And that gives you more shopping choices. This has been more important than ever in what's been a tough time for businesses. That's why this past year, we accelerated our plans and made it free for merchants to sell their products across Google. Since then, we've seen an 80% increase in merchants on Google, with the vast majority being small and medium-sized businesses. And today, we're making it easier than ever for merchants of all sizes to get on Google. Together with Shopify, we're excited to launch a seamless integration so that the more than 1.7 million merchants on Shopify.
Yeah, that should definitely help small businesses affected by COVID.
With just a few clicks, these retailers can sign up to appear across Google's 1 billion shopping journeys each day. From search to maps, images to Lens, and YouTube. We believe you deserve the most choice available, and will continue to innovate on shopping along every step of the way. So far,
I don't know, everything there is like, oh, they're basically generic brand products, and they're just like Uno.
AI can also help us revisit our favorite memories and moments, especially this past year when many of us have been feeling nostalgic. To talk about new innovations in Google Photos, here's Shimrit.
Thanks, Bill. It's great to be back on campus talking with you all about Google Photos. We capture photos and videos so we can look back and remember. They help us feel connected. And today, there are more than 4 trillion photos and videos stored in Google Photos. But having so many photos of loved ones, screenshots, selfies, all stored together makes it hard to rediscover the important moments. In fact, the vast majority of photos in Google Photos are never viewed. And we've heard from you how powerful it is to rediscover a memory that helps you tell your story and reconnect. So today, I want to show you new features that use AI to resurface.
Yeah, I'd say hopefully they give justification for photos now costing money for storage, so hopefully these features are good enough to make you want to pay.
A new way to look back that we're calling little patterns. Little patterns show the magic in everyday moments by identifying not so obvious moments and resurfacing them to you. I'll show you how this works. This feature uses machine learning to translate photos into a series of numbers and then compares how visually or conceptually similar these images are. When we find a set of 3 or more photos with similarities such as shape or color, we'll surface them as a pattern. When we started testing little patterns, we saw some great stories come to life. Like how one of our engineers traveled the world with their favorite
Adventures of the Orange Backpack.
Or how our product manager, Christy, had a habit of capturing objects of similar shape and color. Or for me, I received a pattern of my family hanging out on the couch over the years. We have so many fun memories there, but I didn't realize how many pics I'd snapped until I saw this.
It's kind of an interesting thing, but like, how many people care about things like that? Like, oh, every picture taken on my couch, or every picture, you know, taken with my backpack, whatever. Like, more useful to be like, oh, this is the trip I took, or you know, or you know, the person specifically, like they already do. This is kind of a weird thing, but I guess.
I also want to bring these moments to life with cutting-edge effects. Last year, we launched cinematic photos to help you relive your memories in a more vivid way.
I do not remember this at all.
I want to show you how we're building on this feature with computational photography to make still photos even more immersive. When we take a photo, most of us actually take 2 to 3 photos of the same shot, just to make sure we get the right one. Any parent who tries to get all their kids smiling and looking at the camera at the same time will know what I mean. Cinematic moments will take these near duplicate images and use neural networks to synthesize the movement between image A and image B. We interpolate the photos and fill in the gaps by creating new frames. The end result is a vivid, moving picture. And the cool thing about this effect is it can work on any pair of images, whether they were captured on Android, iOS, or scanned from a photo album. Creating this effect from scratch would take professional animators hours, but by applying machine learning, we can automatically bring this experience right to your gallery. And we know that looking back is never a one-size-fits-all solution. It's more meaningful when you can look back on content that's personalized to you. So later this year, you'll see new types of memories that are relevant to the moments you celebrate, whether that's Diwali, Lunar New Year.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely still an issue, and I'm surprised they didn't support before.
My family celebrates Hanukkah, so I can look back on a collection of Hanukkah moments right in my photo grid. In addition to providing personalized content to look back on, we also want to give you more control. We heard from you that controls can be helpful for anyone who has been through a tough life event, breakup, or loss. Specifically, we heard from the transgender community that resurfacing certain photos can be painful.
Okay, yeah, I definitely remember reading an article about this, so
Listening to feedback
sounds like they're trying to do a solution for this.
more inclusive. These insights inspired us to give you the control to hide photos of certain people or time periods.
Yeah, because the article was like somebody who started planning for a wedding but canceled it before it even happened, and they still get reminded about stuff from like everything. Like, oh, photo surface, they got constantly get wedding plan emails even though they unsubscribed and shit. So it's like having a feature like this is actually pretty useful.
Rediscover meaningful memories or immerse yourself in a cinematic moment.
It's like for things like that, you know, and like they mentioned like transgender stuff.
Looking back is an important part of the human experience, which is why Google Photos is making it easier than ever to relive your memories. Thank you.
Thanks, Shamvit. I'm really excited by the progress we are making with AI. As you've heard today, we're using AI to advance our understanding of information and build more helpful experiences across Google Search.
So, yeah, we're already over an hour in, and so far all we've really talked about is AI mostly.
You're going to hear about innovations in our computing platforms.
Okay, yeah, so now we're finally getting to Android.
To Android 12, the newest release of our open platform.
Yeah, so with the leaks are correct, obviously, yeah, Android 12 is like a massive redesign. So, which to be honest, from what I've seen, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Okay, yeah, and I already saw this video. They teased it on the Material Design Twitter. Ah, there he is. Okay, that's definitely reflecting the design changes, the pastel colors that they used on the title card.
In 2014, we introduced
that shirt though
to address the explosion of mobile phones. It set a new standard for Android apps, and for Google, it rationalized our products simply.
Yeah, to be honest, I kind of miss the old Material Design.
But today, the challenge is
it's like it was like I loved how it used color and shit to like emphasize stuff, and now it's like everything's just black and white.
Where people are yearning to.
Which I mean, okay, technically it's better for phones, you know, nowadays with like AMOLED screens, because like pure black, less battery life. But it's like I would like to have at least a bit of color in an app. It looks so boring to just be in black and white all the time.
Beauty is personal. To face this challenge, we had to question everything. Instead of form.
So, what it sounds like is they might be doing some kind of like Apple Watches and shit have, where it's like you can have the like you can automatically generate color like a watch face based on what you're wearing from a picture. So
all your
Yeah.
generating
I mean, they might not do it with your photos, but yeah, you basically have your own color palette based on what you enjoy.
engineering UI elements to respond in real time.
So, I mean, I guess good thing it's customizable then, because, like, looking at some of these things, I'm like, the color palette looks terrible, but I mean, if it is something that's automatically adapted based on what you set, you can easily set to just what it's always been.
A new design that never compromises on accessibility.
Why the hell is the progress bar squiggly?
Normative control of contrast, size, and even line width. Material can satisfy every need. No longer defaulting to one size fits all, Material U is a radical new way to think about design.
So basically we had material theming or 2.0, and now we got Material U.
Not just Google's, to blend in their users' styles and
I guess that looks very One UI-ish, kind of.
As designers, sharing control of every pixel is terrifying. But that leap of faith is revolutionizing design across Google.
Well, I gotta wonder how well it's gonna work, because some of the places are like, oh, you know, we're gonna want our own theme. We're not gonna want people to modify it, so where they explicitly try to block you from using your own colors.
Textures and shapes.
But I guess this does make sense why they're going the whole pastel look, considering really what they're showing all their products. Like literally every product they've been doing here recently has been pastel colors.
Tailor your Google products for the perfect fit. Beyond light and dark, a mode for every mood.
So I mean, hey, I guess that solves the complaint I was having. I was like, oh yeah, it's just black and white. Like, no, now you can make it any color you want.
Material U comes first to Google Pixel this
Yep.
week, including all of your favorite Google apps. And over the following year, we will continue our vision, bringing it to the web, Chrome OS, wearables, smart displays,
Wearables.
all of Google's products. Material U is a way to design differently. We can't wait to see what brings you joy and what you find beautiful.
Well, I always said Pixel this fall, but obviously, the beta's probably gonna launch today, so.
On the redesigned widgets and your material palette, Samir will show you our most personal OS ever.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really curious if there's what our big change is gonna be, because like Android, to be honest, has kind of stagnated in the last like few releases. Like, you can have a device still running Android like 8, and it doesn't feel that much different from a device running Android 11. So, used to you get a lot bigger features each release, so it's like, hey, you know, if they can finally make it more interesting for newer things, then, you know. But yeah, like, this design, like, it's interesting, but it's like, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Like...
Hi everyone, it's great to be back live at Google I/O. What you just saw was a peek into the biggest design change to Android in years, and we're gonna go through all of it.
Yeah, about to say, what was the last time we had the design like this? Like, yeah, probably would have been Android 5.0, because like Material 2.0 wasn't really that technically big of a change. So
Active Android devices around the world. This would never have been possible without the entire Android ecosystem. But there's so much.
yeah, if it was just phones, we would never hit 3 billion. But it's like now you got watches, you got smart watches, you got cars, you got TVs.
First, smartphones are deeply personal, and we think your phone should adapt to you, not the other way around. Second, to keep your personal information safe, the OS should be secure by default and private by design. And third, we want all of your devices, TVs, cars, watches, and more to work better together with your phone at the center. I'm excited to show you more. So let's start by taking a look at our new UI for Android.
Yep.
We've overhauled everything from the lock screen to system settings.
Yeah, like, it's a very drastic change.
Light and motion, inspired by Material U.
I'm really curious why the hell the weather wedge is that's such a weird shape. Like,
Plan for Google Pixel using what we call color extraction. Think of it as one part art and one part science.
So this is what I was talking about with the
Wallpaper changes.
Okay, well it's based on the wallpaper, but
My kids actually getting along for once.
well it's like it's basically the feature that Samsung watches and the Apple watches have for years. Where it's like, oh, you just take a photo of what you're wearing for the day, and it automatically generates a watch face with your palette. So in this case, it's just the whole OS, not just the watch face on a watch.
We use a clustering algorithm with material color targets to determine which colors are dominant, which ones are complementary, and which ones just look great together. It then applies hues across different parts of the interface. In other words, it's going to be beautiful. The result is a one-of-a-kind design, just for you. And you'll see.
What can you set it without the wallpaper? That's the big question.
Is more than a visual redesign. Many interactions have been simplified, and system spaces.
As I'd say, what is the icon down the bottom left? I can't tell.
Is more playful.
Like, I was gonna say camera, like usual, but that does not look like a camera.
Bottom of your screen.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's Google Pay cards, which is weird because you can just press and hold the power button. Why do you necessarily need it on the lock screen?
When you don't have any notifications, it appears larger on the lock screen, so you know.
Yeah, to be honest, that's a useful change. And I do like the stacked clock look.
With a crisp, at-a-glance view of your app notifications, whatever you're currently listening to or watching, and quick settings that give you control.
I do not like how the quick settings is only for whenever you have it like that. Like,
setting space doesn't just look and feel different.
it's like, why do they need to be so big?
To include Google Pay and home controls, while still allowing.
Okay, the thing. So those not even in the power menu anymore? Because they were in the power menu. So if they're in the notification shade now, are they?
Google Assistant by long pressing the power button.
That's why.
Making it easier than ever to harness the power of Google.
Yeah, because it was long press the power button and you get the shut off options and the cards and home devices. So
Super smooth.
they're now in the notification shade, so you can long press for Google Assistant.
Key system services such as activity, window, and.
But how do you shut off the phone then?
The team also reduced the
Because there's no shut off prompt showed there.
server by a whopping.
I don't know. Maybe you just ask Google.
Basically, everything's faster. There's a lot to explore in this new design, and I can't wait for you all to try it out. Now, the design isn't the only part of the device that's personal. Our phones hold so much important information, and it's critical to keep it private and secure. To tell you more about that, let me hand it off to Suzanne.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. From our first device to 3 billion today, we've designed security and privacy for everyone, no matter how expensive their device is. We've built game-changing capabilities for everyone, from file-based encryption to TLS by default and secure DNS to prevent traffic tampering and data breaches. And since 2017, Google Pixel and Samsung Galaxy have continually received the highest security rating in Gartner's annual.
Interesting that they explicitly bring up Samsung there, but yeah.
Simply put, the most secure devices run on Android. And with Android 12, we're going even further to keep your information safe.
But yeah, actually, this is another thing about. I wonder how the Material U redesign is going to affect One UI. Because Google has already basically said, hey, we'll make a custom version of Google Messages using One UI for your Samsung devices, so they're willing to change your app on the fly to adapt to a completely different company's, look. So
What type of data was accessed and when?
maybe that's part of the way they're able to accomplish this Material theme thing.
Including all of your Google apps. And we've made it really easy to revoke an app's permission directly from the dashboard. We've also added an indicator to make it clear when an app is using your camera or microphone.
Okay, so just like iOS.
If you don't want any apps to access the microphone or camera, even if you've granted them permission in the past, we've added.
Okay, that's actually super useful, having just a hardware, essentially a kill switch. I mean, of course, it would be nice if it was hardware, for like really security privacy focus, but that's something they could probably do on a new Pixel device.
Privacy that's baked into the heart of Android.
It's like on most devices it would be software based, but they could be like, oh, on the Pixel we have a physical disconnect if you use that toggle.
There are even more opportunities for the OS to be helpful. And to make it easier for everyone to embrace these new innovations, we're combining cutting-edge features with powerful privacy. You heard Jen talk about the ways we're building private by design technology. Thanks to advances here with Android's private compute core, we're able to introduce new features.
I do wonder if they're going to show anything else during the show other than Android, after this. Like maybe something about Chrome OS, maybe something about Google Home or Nest devices or whatever it's called now, and Pixel, of course.
Which tells you what song is playing in the background. And Smart Reply, which suggests responses to your chat.
That now playing thing is actually really useful. I just got a Pixel not that long ago, and
later this year.
So handy having that.
And by the way, all of the sensitive audio and language processing.
Smart Reply, though, I've not really got a use yet because I don't think any apps I use are actually compatible with it yet.
Preserve your privacy.
Because I don't get SMS messages, and I don't use Facebook Messenger and stuff, so.
Fully inspectable and verifiable.
Discord doesn't support it, so, yeah.
Android is the first commercial mobile operating system to enable technically enforced privacy like this. And this is just one of the ways we'll continue to pioneer innovation while also maintaining the highest standards of privacy, security, and safety. And there's a whole lot more for privacy and security in Android 12, which you can hear about in our What's New in Android Privacy session later today. Now I'll hand it back to Samir to talk about how we're building for a multi-device world.
Thanks, Suzanne. Phones have become the center of our digital lives, and they interact with a ton of other devices we use on a day-to-day basis. Laptops, TVs, cars, and more. This next chapter of Android is focused on delightful and helpful experiences across all the devices that are connected to your phone, so that everything just works better together. Let's start by looking at how your phone works with your Chromebook. With a single tap, you can unlock and sign into your Chromebook when your phone is nearby. Incoming chat notifications from apps on your phone are right there in Chrome OS. And soon, if you want to share a picture, one click and you can access your phone's most recent photos. As another simple example, let's talk about your TV's remote. If your home is like mine, the remote is missing like 50% of the time. To keep movie night on track, we're building TV remote features directly into your phone. You can use voice search or even type with your phone's keyboard. It's effortless. For the more than 80 million devices using Android TV OS, this will work right out of the box. And we want all of your smart devices to work together, not just those in your home, even your car. In fact, Android Auto is available in more than 100 million cars. And the vast majority of new vehicles from loved brands like Ford, GM, Honda, and more will support Android Auto Wireless. No more cords. We're also really excited to introduce support for digital car key. Car key will allow you to lock, unlock, and start your car, all from your phone. It works with NFC and ultra-wideband technology, making it super secure and easy to use. Just walk up to your car, step in, and away you go. And if your friend needs to borrow your car, you can remotely and securely share your digital key with them. Car Key is launching this fall with select Google Pixel and Samsung Galaxy smartphones. And we're working with BMW and others across the industry to bring it to their upcoming cars. Okay, that was a quick look at Android 12.
Interesting that's only Pixel and Galaxy.
You can check out many of these features in the Android 12 beta today. Try it out.
Yep, today.
From 11 device makers.
Is it live?
Pixel,
Nope.
and Xiaomi.
Just refresh the page, it's not there yet.
From a personalized UI to industry-leading innovation in privacy and security, and better experiences across all the devices in your life. There's so much transformative technology coming to your phone this year. Now, let's go beyond the phone to what we believe is the next evolution of mobile computing, the smartwatch. Today, I'm excited to tell you about the biggest update to Wear OS ever. We've been hard at work in 3 key areas. First, building a unified platform jointly with Samsung, focused on battery life, performance, and making it easier for developers to build great apps for the web. Second,
Okay.
a whole new consumer experience, including updates to your favorite Google apps. And third, a world-class health and fitness service created by the newest addition to the Google family, Fitbit. There's a lot to share here.
So yeah, finally they're dealing with Wear OS. But that unified platform thing is interesting because that means they're ditching Tizen right after I bought a fucking Tizen watch.
Early days of Android, whenever we've tackled problems together, the ecosystem has grown for everyone. And now we're combining the best of our 2 operating systems, Wear OS and Tizen.
So I wonder if the old devices will get updated to Wear OS.
Longer battery life,
And what will happen to any apps that are only on Tizen or only on Android?
apps start up to 30% faster, and animations and transitions are super smooth. We're also addressing what consumers always want from a wearable: longer battery life. By taking advantage of smaller, lower power cores, we can do things like run the heart rate sensor continuously, letting you better track your activity during the day and your sleep overnight, while giving you plenty of battery to spare for the next day. This combined platform isn't just for Google and Samsung. It will continue to be available for all device makers, which means developers can build apps with a single set of APIs and reach millions of consumers all over the world through the Google Play Store. To hear more about our partnership, it's my privilege to welcome Patrick Chomé, who leads all product and experience at Samsung Mobile, to Google I/O.
So yeah, this is really going to be interesting to see how they handle this. Because they could update the old devices, and they could also essentially make a Tizen emulator to run the old apps or something, or allow them to be ported. And of course, if there's going to be support for things like the bezel scrolling, which is the best part about Tizen.
And delivered rich communication experiences with Google Duo and Messages. And we are very excited about the new chapter of our partnership, wearables. The Galaxy Watch is already loved by Android smartphone users with our signature designs, cool watch faces ecosystem, an innovative health platform. We are bringing the best of these Galaxy Watch capabilities together with Google on a single platform, unifying the ecosystem for customers and developers. We work closely to optimize the performance, meaning better responsiveness and longer battery life.
And the performance thing is huge if they actually nail it, because Tizen is pretty fast. Android Wear, though, is fucking laggy as shit.
Galaxy Watch. I am truly excited to welcome the developer community to our new, vibrant, and open ecosystem. Thank you. Back over to you, Samir.
Thank you, Patrick. We're very excited about our partnership, and I know many developers will be thrilled about our unified platform. On top of this new foundation, Wear is also getting a big update to the consumer experience. To tell you more, let me hand it off to Björn.
So, talking about updates to the consumer experience, I wonder how much of this is going to look like Tizen, then, if they're basically talking about combining the platforms together. Like, what were they pull from Tizen, what were they pull from Wear?
Hey everyone.
And of course, how are you going to fit the Android 12 design in there?
People love most about their smartwatch, and we've built a whole new experience with your preferences in mind. First, our new navigation system makes it faster than ever to get things done on your watch. No matter what you're doing, you can access shortcuts to important functions like instantly switching to another app. Let's say I'm running with Strava and I'm about to hit that long, grueling hill. I just double press to switch to my last app, Spotify, put on my most motivating.
Yeah, those just straight up look like Tizen apps.
Missing a beat. It's such a simple thing for a more helpful and fluid experience. People have also told us they love getting glanceable pieces of helpful information just to swipe away from their watch face. so we're expanding our collection of tiles. Thanks to the new Tiles API, any developer can create one, giving people many more ways to customize their home screen carousel. Now I can go from checking my next meeting, to the weather forecast, to this new tile from Calm, which helps me relax before a stressful event like presenting at Google I/O. We've also been hard at work revamping the Wearables app experience with a material design update and expanded capabilities, starting with your favorite ones from Google. This includes things like getting turn-by-turn navigation in Google Maps when you leave your phone behind, being able to use Google Pay in 37 countries and more than 200 public transit systems around the world, or downloading music from a catalog of more than 70 million songs for offline listening in the YouTube Music app, even without your phone nearby. We're thrilled about all the ways you'll be able to experience the best of Google on your watch. And speaking of the best of Google, I'm delighted to welcome the newest member of the family to Wear.
Yeah, now talking about Fitbit. Yeah.
Health and fitness is essential for wearables, and Fitbit has built a world-class service. So now, I'd love to welcome James to share.
So yeah, they're basically just integrating Fitbit into Wear instead of using
Thanks, Bjorn.
So yeah, I actually do wonder how they're gonna do this though, because they're talking about both combining with Fitbit and Tizen through Samsung. So, like, what is this based on? Like, is it still based on Android? Is it based on Tizen? Is it based on Fitbit's platform? Like, what's the underlying code here?
Trackers to smartwatches, along with software and services that give users amazing health and wellness content and rich insights and analytics on their data. And now that we're part of Google, we're working to bring the best of Fitbit to Wear. We will be making some of Fitbit's most popular features available on Wear watches, including tracking your health progress throughout the day and on-wrist celebrations to help keep you motivated. In the future, we'll be building premium smartwatches based on Wear that combine the best of Fitbit's health expertise with Google's ambient computing capabilities. All this is just the beginning of how, together with Google, we can do even more to inspire and motivate people on their journey to better health. Back to you, Samir.
Thanks, James. I couldn't be more excited for all the updates starting to roll out this fall. Stay tuned for our developer keynote to learn more about new tools and libraries to help you build great apps.
Okay, so dev chemo,
From a unified
stuff.
with Samsung to a new consumer experience and a world-class fitness service from Fitbit. This is a new era for the wearables ecosystem. So that was a lot. But before we move on from Android and Wear, there's something really important to me personally that I wanted to share with you.
Okay.
As the world's largest OS, we have a responsibility to build for everyone. As part of our ongoing commitment to product inclusion, we're working to make technology more accessible and equitable. One of the most important parts of any smartphone is the camera. Pictures are deeply personal and play an important role in shaping how people see you and how you see yourself. But for people of color, photography has not always seen us as we want to be seen, even in some of our own Google products. To make smartphone photography truly for everyone, we've been working with a group of industry experts to build a more accurate and inclusive camera. Let's take a look.
People tend to think that cameras are objective, but a bunch of decisions go into making these tools. And historically, those decisions have not been taking people of color into account.
It's still reaffirming this idea that Black people aren't worthy of being seen.
So far, we've partnered with a range of different expert image makers who've taken thousands of images to diversify our image data sets, helped improve the accuracy of our auto white balance and auto exposure algorithms, and given aesthetic feedback to make our images of people of color more beautiful and more accurate.
The process was create almost like a guidebook to capture skin tones.
I can't help but think of my mom. She still thinks that she's not beautiful
because of pictures were taken of her when she's younger? How many little girls are thinking they're not beautiful because they were the darkest skinned person in the photo and they didn't get represented?
The work is for us to do. It's not for people to change the way they look. It's for us to change the way the tools work.
Yeah.
Our engineering team is learning a tremendous amount working with these experts, and we're making changes to our computational photography algorithms to address long-standing problems. For example, we're making auto white balance adjustments to algorithmically reduce stray light to bring out natural brown tones and prevent overbrightening and desaturation of darker skin tones. We're also able to reflect curly and wavy hair types more accurately in selfies with new algorithms that better separate a person from the background in any image. Although there's still much to do, we're working hard to bring all of what you've seen here and more to Google Pixel this fall. And we're committed to sharing everything we learn with the entire Android ecosystem so that together we can make cameras that work fairly for everyone. Thank you.
As Sundar shared, we want to build a more helpful Google for everyone to increase knowledge, success, happiness, and health beyond anything previously possible. Today, I want to bring you inside to see how our recent advances in image recognition are helping to solve some of the world's big health challenges. Let's start with breast cancer, a diagnosis that 1 in 8 women will face in their lifetime. Mammograms can help catch breast cancer earlier, but half of all women experience a false alarm across a decade of screening. So we've been working to make mammography better. Last year, our research demonstrated AI's potential to analyze screening mammograms with accuracy similar to clinicians. And now we're collaborating with Northwestern Medicine on an investigative device research study to better understand how AI can apply to the breast cancer screening process. Let's hear why this matters.
Definitely some interesting stuff here.
When we found out Grandma had breast cancer, it was in the late 90s, and it wasn't something that anyone talked about. So my first mammogram was nerve-wracking. Waiting for the results. Every thought runs through your head. What if they find something? It was the worst feeling.
One of the greatest anxieties about having mammography is the wait. It may take radiologists days, sometimes weeks, to get through the list of mammograms that need to be read. This is a national problem. We don't have enough people doing what we need to do. With the research study that we're doing with Google, we're using artificial intelligence that scans the mammogram image. It helps flag patients that may need additional imaging. I get an email that says the patient has been flagged, and if I agree, we take the patient and they take more pictures right away. We're just at the tip of the iceberg in terms of what we can do with artificial intelligence. We would like to see that we are getting patients faster through the system. If we can show that, then we can potentially change radiologists' operations in such a way that they can prioritize patients that need care first. So it will be very exciting to see the results of this study.
This is a great example of how we're learning if AI could support clinicians in their work to triage patients. At Google, we want everyone to have the highest quality care. Technology can and should help close the equity gap. That's why we're working to bring this technology to bear on important global health challenges, from diabetic retinopathy to our new work to improve tuberculosis detection using image recognition on chest X-rays. We also believe AI can assist you in your daily health. People come to Google Search every day to ask questions about their health. For example, we see billions of queries each year related to dermatologic issues. This is no surprise because derm conditions affect about 2 billion people globally. There are not enough specialists to meet the need. And so we wondered, how can AI help when you're searching and asking, what is this? Meet our AI-powered Dermatology Assist tool, a Class 1 CE-marked medical device that uses machine learning to help find answers to common derm conditions, right from your smartphone or computer.
So yeah, this one is like, it's pretty good for people who need that, you know.
Angles of the skin, hair, or nail issue that you want to learn about, and answer some basic questions about your symptoms. The AI model handles the rest. In a matter of seconds, you will have a list of possible matching dermatologic conditions, and then we can help you get relevant information to learn more. It seems simple, but developing an effective AI model for dermatology requires the capability to interpret millions and millions of images, inclusive of a full range of skin types and tones. When available, this tool will be accessible from your browser and cover 288 conditions, including 90% of the most commonly searched derm-related questions on Google. We're working to make it available to consumers on Google Search in the EU as early as the end of this year. We've just looked at ways we're applying AI to support people and caregivers everywhere. But health isn't just driven by medical care. It's also about our social and emotional well-being. And that's where staying connected comes in. To find out how Google is helping, let me pass it back to Sundar.
Thank you, Dr. DeSalvo. It's exciting to see the ways in which AI and image recognition are transforming healthcare. There are two additional areas of research where AI will have long-term impact. The first feels incredibly timely. We were all grateful to have video conferencing over the last year. It helped us stay in touch with family and friends and kept businesses and schools going. But there is no substitute for being together.
So yeah, I guess we are wrapping it up here for the main keynotes since Sundar's back on stage.
To explore what's possible. We call it Project Starline. It builds on the different areas of computer science I spoke about today and relies on custom-built hardware and highly specialized equipment. It's
Custom-built hardware?
And currently available in just a few of our offices.
Okay.
I thought it'd be fun to give you a look at people experiencing it for the first time.
Ah,
Let's take a look.
so
When I walked into the room, I was a little suspicious. What is this? I couldn't quite understand what was going to happen when that screen lit up. Eddie!
So, you look beautiful.
I could feel her and see her, and it was this like 3D experience.
Ah. This is interesting.
I just saw my sister.
Okay, this might actually be the significant thing they're talking about, because this is actually kind of insane.
Same room.
It was like she was here.
Hi. Wow.
Some key advances have made this experience possible. First, using high-resolution cameras and custom-built depth sensors, we capture your shape and appearance from multiple perspectives, and then fuse them together to create an extremely detailed, real-time 3D model. The resulting data is huge, many gigabytes per second. To send this 3D imagery over existing networks, we developed novel compression and streaming algorithms that reduce the data by a factor of
It's actually like very realistic looking models to be generated in real time.
light field display that shows you the realistic representation of someone sitting right in front of you in 3 dimensions. As you move your head and body, Our system adjusts the images to match your perspective. You can talk naturally, gesture, and make eye contact. It's as close as we can get to the feeling of sitting across from someone. As sophisticated as the technology is, it vanishes, so you can focus on what's most important. With Project Starline, we've brought together a set of advanced technologies with the goal of creating the best communications experience possible. We have spent thousands of hours testing it in our own offices, and the results are promising. There's also excitement from our lead enterprise partners. We plan to expand access to partners in healthcare and media. In pushing the boundaries of remote collaboration, we have made technical advances that will improve our entire suite of communications products. We look forward to sharing more ways for you to get involved in the months ahead. The second area of research I want to discuss is our work in driving forward sustainability. Sustainability has been a core value for more than 20 years. We were the first major company to become carbon neutral in 2007. We were also the first to match our operations with 100% renewable energy. That was in 2017, and we've been doing it ever since. And last year, we eliminated our entire carbon legacy. Our next ambition is our biggest yet. By 2030, we aim to operate on carbon-free energy 24/7. This means running every data center and office on clean electricity every hour of every day. Operating 24/7 on carbon-free energy is a step change from current approaches. It means setting a higher bar to never emit carbon from our operations in the first place. It's a moonshot, like Lambda or quantum computing. And it presents an equally hard set of problems to solve. First, we have to source carbon-free energy in every place we operate, a harder task in some places than in others. Today, 5 of our data centers are already operating at or near 90% carbon-free energy. In Denmark, we built 5 new solar farms to support our newest data center, complementing existing wind energy on the Danish grid. And it's operated carbon-free 90% of the time since day one. Another challenge of 24/7 carbon-free energy is just that. It has to run every hour of every day. So last year, we rolled out the world's first carbon-intelligent computing platform. It automatically shifts the timing of many compute tasks to when clean power sources are most plentiful. And today, I'm excited to announce we are the first company to implement carbon-intelligent load shifting across both time and place within our data center network. By this time next year, we'll be shifting more than a third of non-production compute to times and places with greater availability of carbon-free energy. To reach 24/7, we also need to go beyond wind and solar and tap into sources of on-demand clean energy like geothermal. Geothermal uses the consistent heat from the earth to generate electricity, but it's not widely used today, and we want to change that. I'm excited to announce that we are partnering to develop a next-generation geothermal power project. This will connect to the grid, serving our Nevada data centers starting next year. We believe our cloud AI, combined with a partner's expertise in fiber optic sensing and novel techniques, can unlock flexible geothermal power in a broad range of new places. Investments like these are needed to get to 24/7 carbon-free energy. And it's happening right here in Mountain View, too. We are building our new campus to the highest sustainability standards.
Oh yeah, I forgot that they were gonna do a new campus.
Will feature a first of its kind Dragon scale solar skin, equipped with 90,000
what the fuck?
solar panels and the capacity to generate nearly 7 megawatts. They will house the largest geothermal pile system in North America, helping to heat the buildings in the winter and cool them in the summer. Sustainability is one of the defining challenges of our time, and advances in computer science and AI have a huge role to play in meeting it. So it's a fitting way to end our I/O keynote. I think of I/O not just as a celebration of technology, but of the people who use it and build it.
So
Millions
I
of
definitely will
people
say
watching today.
they're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be massive, significant announcements and stuff. And it's like, to be honest, this might be the most underwhelming I/O I've ever seen. Like, all this stuff is important. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, and the things like the AI and the, carbon neutral stuff and all it is like, they're definitely good changes. But at the same time, like, it just didn't really feel that interesting to watch or anything.
And be well.
It's like the only thing that was really good throughout the entire thing was the Android stuff, and even that was nowhere near as big as I was expecting. It's like, oh, you got a new design, whatever, but that was basically it. Like, they did technically talk about some other new features, but mostly just design. Okay. Oh, it automatically switched over. Interesting.
How did I get here? But if you put your mind to something and you don't let anything stop you, it's impossible to not make progress.
When Jason was in diapers, I knew he was going to be an unusual child. He'd be in his high chair at the dinner table, and if there was any music on, he would be beating on the table. Tap, 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 tap. We realized this kid needs some drums because he's...
Yeah, I already saw. I just forgot to mention it to you. How are you doing today?
And then life changed. January 9th, 2012. I'll never forget.
I used to do subcontract work cleaning restaurant exhaust. We'd usually do like 2 to 3
That's
times
good.
a day. Go up on the roof and spray down the duct. Just like I remember it. Pink flash, and like a loud boom. And then I woke up in the hospital.
I'm not.
When I knew that we were going to have to amputate his arm, he cried in my arms.
I'm just talking normally.
I'm never going to amount to anything. I'll never play drums. I'll never be able to do anything again in my life ever. After 3 weeks,
I was talking normally the entire time.
I can't take this anymore. He said, "Get my drum kit out of the garage."
This is how I always talk.
The drumstick to his arm. He did some little tapping around, and then he turned around and said, "You know, I think I can make something work."
Seem like it's growing back, Doc. There's a side of me ever since I've been a kid where if I'm gonna start something, it has to get done. I just won't let it go. So my current prosthetic is what you call a body-powered prosthetic. It just uses basic mechanics, so there's no robotic controls or no electronics. I use a lot of my shoulder and elbow to kind of exaggerate to get the hits that I want. It's pretty exhausting. It also has limitations on how fast I can play.
Like, that feels like it might be a little too slow now.
At first, it was a little slow. Yeah, it's a weird one.
So I had an idea of developing a robotic drumming prosthetic, and Gil Weinberg develops musical robots, and so I knew Gil was kind of the right person to reach out to.
I understood immediately what he wanted. He wanted to sense more of his muscles and be able to control the bounce of the drumstick.
Basically, we just wanted to be able to get me back on the kit and play as humanly natural as possible.
The model is trying to learn you, but you probably will have to learn how to work with a model.
Yeah, I think most of it now is like the sensitivity. I'm not training it that hard.
Also, there's a trade-off because if you increase sensitivity, then it's going to have a lot of false positives and false negatives.
Would you like to move, Steve, loose? How fast are we going to change between the kind of hits?
I mean, I have tons of ideas, but then it's just like how accurate is everything going to be? You know what I mean?
I was a little worried. Can we provide him with what he wanted in terms of the latency and the control? We didn't know that it's possible. Okay, I'm really excited to see if we have signals. Ready, Ning?
The goal is very simple, but
in reality, in each of the steps, it's actually pretty complicated.
Oh, see, and that's what happened last time. We have some crashes, and the stick starts to roll around. Maybe we should have Raghav listening also to get an insight.
So what you might have to do is you just take data while you're...
Yeah, you remember to disable that.
So that might solve this issue.
It could be also the power supply itself.
Right.
There are actually a handful of challenges with creating a prosthetic arm specifically for drumming. Latency is always a big concern. You don't want to flex your arm and a second later for it to do something.
It is delayed by 50 milliseconds. You can notice that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of nuance with exactly how the drumstick reacts. Things as subtle as how tightly do you grip it? How does it bounce? They're really hard to calibrate if you don't have a machine learning system to gather all the data.
When I heard about Jason's story, it really blew my mind. I was like, whoa, I had no idea how far we have come in terms of AI and prosthetics.
So the way the arm operates is we use EMG, which stands for electromyography. Basically what that is it's sensors that are amplified by a battery that pick up electrical signals from our residual limb.
Using these signals, we are able to do recognition of complex patterns with machine learning and then map them to specific movements. TensorFlow Lite is doing that in real time.
And so I can flex my muscle and it will tighten the grip on the stick, and I can extend my muscle and it will loosen the grip on the stick, just like it would with a normal hand.
No, the latency it's like none. Awesome, that's awesome. And in the last few months, we were able to detect almost 100% of the time this intention.
I can actually feel the feedback from the arm, and it feels as close to a real hand as you can get without it actually being a real hand.
I think what Jason and the team has accomplished is truly awe-inspiring. He took what was a large setback in his life and he moved an entire field of research forward.
So Louis, you can actually...
And it looks like the beta is live, so I guess I might as well go ahead and install it to my phone.
Yeah, I mean, there are drummers with two sound hands that don't have double strokes that even. It's amazing.
For the first time, if you look at him playing, you may not even notice this technology. You just see Jason as the great and expressive musician that he is.
It could not enroll your device at this time. Website must be having issues. That is music. There we go.
Of course, I think there's a need to keep pushing on this stuff because there's always someone that needs help with something like this, and AI is going to be the bridge between that.
But yeah, to be honest, I did not realize that they were going to take a 15-minute break.
I hesitated for a few
Oh yeah,
seconds,
I've seen this commercial already.
and I realized the
Pretty good.
intensity of it, what it really meant. I'm 55 years old.
I guess this gives me time to go ahead and update my phone.
Time I was able to call my son.
Assuming it automatically is sending it down already.
This is Matthew.
Because it says I enrolled, but I don't know how fast that change is going to take effect.
Like really, really cold water.
I also swam across the English Channel.
But that's another story. Matthew is deaf.
People think if I got a hearing aid on,
I wonder if they show the car crash one too, because that was actually a really good one.
I lip read most of the time. I have two boys, and they're both very important part of my life.
This is Matthew's youngest son.
Hi, I'm Harry.
He lives in Hong Kong and plays rugby.
I always want to keep in touch with him. Before, I need to communicate with him through Zoom or WhatsApp. I would try and lip read him, but it's really hard because it's not 3D, it's a flat screen. When I got the Google Picture phone, because the live capture Peter, Harry was the first person I phoned. It was incredible. And we were talking for about half an hour. All of a sudden, he said,
Dad, do you realise this is the first time we've talked on the phone?
I was speechless for 3-4 seconds, and it realised what it really meant. I'm 55 years old, and for the first time in my life, I was able to call my son. It was wonderful. What you gonna do? Mobile phone been around for a long time, and yet hadn't been really.
To be honest, I'm debating if I should just BRB.
That's what included me. you don't feel left out.
Which, to be honest, I actually never set up a BRB screen. Again, whoops. Well, yeah, to be honest, I probably should do that, because better than just sitting here this whole time, seeing videos I've already technically seen. And, like, I do probably need to get up and, you know, get a drink and all that stuff anyway, so... Yeah, I guess we'll be right back.
All right, Thomas.
Ben, thank you very much. Where are you, brother? Right here, buddy. All right. You want to show me the way? Straight to the right? Let's go. Let's go.
My name is Thomas Panic, and I'm a blind man. I'm an athlete, I'm a runner, I'm a father, I'm a CEO. I have a genetic condition, it turns out, that would make me blind by the time I was a young adult. When you run, you like a kid, you feel free. You go as fast as you can, and eventually I couldn't do that anymore. I lost that part of me. I ended up getting some volunteer human guides to run with me, but I was always behind. Even though my legs and my lungs had the capacity to run faster, I had to follow the person in front of me. Having the ability to do it independently was really important to me.
Thomas came to Google during a one-day hackathon event, and during that event, he asked us,
Can we help a blind runner navigate? Can we make that happen? Can we make navigation for a blind runner possible?
it's not obvious to us how to do it, but we came up with this basic prototype.
So what we came up with was a system that just uses a regular Android phone. The machine learning algorithm that we have detects the line and can tell whether the line is to the runner's left, right, or center. We can then send signals to the runner that guides them left and right based on their positioning.
The first time we went out, we didn't even know if sound would be enough to guide me. So it's sort of that beta testing process that you go through.
From human eyes, it's very obvious to recognize the line. Teaching a machine learning model to do that is not that easy.
You step left and right as you're running, so there's like a shake to the line, left and right. As soon as you start going outdoors, now the light is a lot more variable.
Tree shadows, falling leaves, and also the line on the ground can be very narrow, and there may be only a few pixels for the computer vision model to recognize.
We didn't want to rely on any internet connection. We had to take our huge model and shrink them into something that we can run on device as fast as we need for someone to run at full speed with.
Well, we've been waiting for 25 years for this minute.
People with vision don't want blind people to take risks. That's what keeps people who are blind from participating in society fully. The safest thing for a blind person to do is to sit still. I ain't sitting still. There was no tether. There was no stick. There was no furry dog. It was just being with yourself.
Absolute freedom. Oh my goodness. That's the first time I've run alone in decades. Just through the woods, you know, by myself. I never thought we'd be here, you know. I didn't think we'd ever be here. It's independence, you know. I'm so dependent on people every day. You, the kids, Blaze. Just me and Elaine, huh?
I am about to test a pretty neat sounding app by Google called Guideline.
I don't walk by myself outside of my home.
I'm feeling a little nervous. I never walked without a cane or my guide dog before.
It's kind of scary, but okay.
Interesting.
Wow.
Good? All right. Up we go. Oh, because she wants to do that uphill? Mary Ann, stand up.
I can describe it as like flying freely.
Freeing, I think, would be like the word that I describe it as. I was able to walk down the street and I felt safe.
Not everybody has a chance to have a guide dog or a volunteer human guide. It's really an opportunity to provide an individual who's blind with freedom to be mobile and active and fit and exercise.
Project Guideline is an early-stage research project. As we continue our research, we hope to work with more organizations. To learn more, please visit goo.gle/Project Guideline. Thank you to Thomas and Guiding Eyes for the Blind for their collaboration and support.
Ryan and I have been working in software together for a few years when we came up with the idea for Bushel. Bushel is a software platform that allows farmers to check in on the business that they're doing with the facilities they sell their grain to. We have over 40,000 farmers that use our tool. We started with Google Workspace.
Went ahead and had a snack bar and got some water.
Shared documents, shared spreadsheets, keeping track of financials. It's a big deal for us to keep things moving.
Jake is the Google Docs starter. We get out of a meeting and he's like, yeah, let's put this into a Google Doc. And all he does is create the file. And then he's done with it.
That's just how I roll.
I don't think I've ever opened a Google slide deck and not seen Ryan's little icon in the upper right-hand corner. You'll probably get 20 to 25 questions from Ryan.
Yeah, I'm the comment king. Absolutely.
Dan will dial in from anywhere and everywhere. He dialed in last year and somebody said, that's a really realistic virtual background you have. And he was like,
I'm actually in my tractor.
we all had those scenarios in the last year where we've seen a little bit more humanity in the background of our work calls than we ever have before.
There was one time we actually had a design team meeting. All of a sudden I felt this pain in my foot. My pet snake bit my toe. The designers thought that was pretty funny.
Innovative thinking put together in a common place for teams, that has been an absolute game changer for how Bushel works and the type of work we're able to accomplish in this crazy situation that we were all put in a year ago. I don't think it would have been possible without Google Workspace.
I saw at the last minute the truck coming towards us, and I knew it's gonna hit on my side, and it just...
There's the car crash ad I was mentioning earlier.
This is Chris.
I'm Chris.
He's married,
We met in college.
likes to go hiking, and take photographs. But this isn't a story about that. It's a story about a car accident. Don't worry, everyone's okay.
It was a good day. We went to go get a late lunch in the Gatlinburg area. Driving back is kind of a new part of the area we've never driven through before. The road split into a Y, and there was no signage in terms of a yield, a stop sign. So I was in the passenger seat giving directions. I had my phone in my hand, and I was pointing to go straight. I just remember that moment, the truck coming closer and closer. It was just scary. I was pointing, and I didn't know what to do. I wasn't sure if I should try to relax, what I should do with my hand. I remember looking at my finger, I'm like, something's gonna happen to my finger. I remember a distinct smell from the airbags, kind of like a burning smell. The jacket that I was wearing kind of melted a little bit, some of the fabric. I remember just hectic moment. Everyone just panicking of kind of what happened. My Pixel actually detected that we were in a car accident and started vibrating as if a phone call was coming through. And then at that point, it prompted me whether I needed to call 911, and it responded super quick. I don't ever really think about how's my phone going to save me today.
Okay, so now we got a countdown. Oh, the racer music. The Android Ice Cream Energy Strike. Okay, this intro is really cool. So yeah, now we got the developer keynote.
Hi everyone. It's great to be back here at Google I/O again this year.
Wait, Jason.
I work on developer relations here at Google.
I'm about to say, they definitely looked like an actor or something, but no, it's just some guy who works at Google.
While this is a different vantage
Like, I could have swore the name was somebody, but I guess not. Yeah.
We have over 225,000 registered attendees joining us from 181 countries today, with some of our largest audiences from India, the US, Brazil, Germany, and South Korea.
Technically, I'm a registered attendee, but I mean, registering just basically means joining the website.
We hope you and those you care about.
It's not anything you gotta pay for, so.
This year has been unlike anything I imagined we'd be living
In the past, you would have had to pay for it, but, well, obviously, kind of no point now. If you're not going to a physical place.
We've had to adapt to working together while physically apart, and tackling problems we never imagined we'd have to face.
Although, of course, in the past, you usually would have got free swag for sign up, so I guess that's a downside.
Technology has played a significant
You can
role
sign up now, but you're not getting free shit, so.
allowing us to do everything from ordering groceries to working from home to staying connected with our loved ones. As we know, crisis doesn't create character, it reveals it. And it's been amazing to see developers like you coming up with solutions to the problems around you. It's in our developer DNA.
And just got the system update prompt.
The hardest problems and using
Time to install.
I've seen this again.
1.72 gigabytes.
In Kenya, there's the team at Flare, who used Google Maps to create an emergency response app designed specifically for places without emergency phone service, like 911 or 112, which has helped save over 7,000 people from previously impossible situations. In Russia, there's Ivan Bakaidov, a 21-year-old self-taught programmer with cerebral palsy who develops apps for other people with speech and motor challenges to communicate. All of his apps are free and open source and helping people around the world. In Texas, there's Mandy Price and her team at Canaries, who are using machine learning and natural language processing through AutoML to help companies with their diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. While most companies can measure the representation of their employees, the team at Canaries is using hundreds of data sources to quantify equity and inclusion, uncover structural bias, and drive systemic change. And in Bangladesh, we have the team at Maya, who created a digital assistant so women could get health information and telehealth consultations in their native language. The team partnered with Google to use an end-to-end transformer-based deep neural network to train on their in-house data set, which increased the accuracy of their natural language processing to above 90%. Now their app can provide answers in Bengali to questions on 50 topics.
Yeah, I do wonder what they're gonna talking about during the developer keynote here, because in the past, sometimes it's just been things like, oh, here's new features in Android Studio or something. But considering they didn't talk at all about Chrome OS or Fuchsia or anything during the main keynote, I wouldn't be surprised if they also talk about stuff in here. Because they've done it in the past. But they leave Chrome for the second keynote for some reason.
Figuring out how to host events that worked for each of their communities. We had over 16,000 digital events last year, reaching over 3 million developers, which is nearly double the number of developers we reached the year before. That's amazing. And while it's not the same as working together in person, it's helped us support each other when we've all needed it. And we want to continue this support by meeting you where you are to help you solve the problems you care about and build the products of our future. And that isn't easy. We know it's hard to build in today's environment, and not just because of the pandemic. It's challenging to code for multiple platforms. It can be hard to integrate machine learning, and it's complex to manage user data safely and correctly in markets around the world. But across our products, we're working to make it easier so that you can focus on the specific problem you're working to solve. Today, you'll hear the latest on Android, the web, Flutter, Firebase, and machine learning. So thank you for joining us. And now I'd like to pass it on to Jacob, who will start us off with updates from the Android team.
I want to connect with people and then just get this conversation that we started here and make it happen all year long.
Thank you, Jason. This really has been a year of huge changes for all of us. I remember watching what felt like futuristic video calls in the film 2001 as a kid. Now, my 3-year-old chats with her grandparents every week on Duo. We can't wait to see each other, but it helps us get through a difficult time. With people depending on apps more than ever, expectations...
Yeah, to be honest, I wonder if they actually are going to end up doing something about that, because they previously were like, oh, we're going to have Duo and Allo for personal, and then Meet and Chat for businesses, but now that with the pandemic, they made Meet open for everybody, personally. Chat soon replacing the personal chat too, so what's going to happen to Duo? They haven't really said anything.
One of the biggest design changes ever, with new experiences that keep people safe, and an all-new UI that is personal, smoother, and much faster. To help bring this to your apps, we're adding a ton of new features. Let's start with user safety. As developers, you know it's crucial that people trust your apps and the platform they're on. To earn this trust, we believe people should understand how apps use their data, have control over how their data is used, and are comfortable it's necessary for tasks that they've initiated. In Android 12, we're adding multiple features to help people understand how apps use their data. To check usage in your apps or SDKs, we're giving you auditing APIs and guidance. And to share more context about your usage, you get a new API, permission intent. To give people more control, we're adding features like approximate location so they can decide how much they want to share. And to help people feel comfortable with the data you're using, we're giving you Bluetooth permissions to scan and connect to nearby devices. No more location needed. Now, we also want to help you build delightful apps. To us, this means that they perform really well and are engaging. Most of this is magic that you add as developers, but the platform should help. First, performance. Sometimes apps are killed or notifications are delayed to improve responsiveness and battery. We know this is frustrating, especially when it's unpredictable. To help, 2 areas we focused on are standby buckets and foreground services.
Okay.
For example, the new restricted standby bucket lets Android limit background work in ways that you'll find predictable and transparent. Foreground services help people interact with apps that are doing work in the background, such as recording your morning run. But sometimes they're misused. Now, you can only start foreground services from user actions or external events. And for background work that needs to run immediately, we're giving you expedited jobs. To improve app startup, we're adding guardrails that prevent apps from using notification trampolines. Working with Google Photos, it now launches up to 34% faster. And we have new customizable launch animations and splash screens. Startup feels responsive, and you can update it with your branding. That was performance. Let's talk about making your apps engaging. We're improving the experience across Android with things like updated notifications and bubbles. Your apps get this for free, but there's more. We're improving media with a new API to insert content in apps like messaging, and we're adding support for AVIF images and HEVC transcoding. And to give people a fun way to see when they've scrolled past the end of your content, we're giving you stretch over scroll. And to make widgets more interactive, you're getting features like animations and new UI controls. Now, that's just a quick glimpse into Android 12. Watch the What's New in Android session for more, and then download the beta, test it with your apps, and tell us what you think. Now, over to Karen to see how to build beautiful, high-quality apps with modern Android.
Thanks, Jacob. We've been hard at work improving the mobile developer experience, what we call modern Android development. You told us keep the openness, but become opinionated about the right way to do things, and make the right way the easiest way. So we did. We know you need a powerful IDE that can keep up with you, a programming language that enables you to do more with less code, and APIs that solve the hardest problems on mobile, yet have backward compatibility. So we brought you Android Studio, Kotlin, Jetpack, and Jetpack Compose, our powerful UI toolkit to easily build beautiful apps for all Android devices. First, Android Studio. We want to help you build higher quality apps faster, like showing test results across multiple devices, debugging databases and background tasks with the App Inspector, or making your apps more accessible with the Android Accessibility Framework inside Android Studio. And for faster build speeds, we have the Android Gradle plugin 7.0 and new DSL and variant APIs. You can find all of this in Android Studio Arctic Fox Beta, available today.
Arctic Fox, weird name for a code name or whatever, but
to push on the boundaries of Kotlin with a brand new native solution to annotation processing for Kotlin built from the ground up. Kotlin Simple Processing is available today and is a powerful and yet simple API for parsing Kotlin.
yeah, to be honest, like, I don't even know why I'm necessarily watching the developer one, because like 90% of this stuff is just gonna go over my head. But yeah,
2 million apps in the Play Store using Kotlin.
like mostly I said, they might show some consumer stuff here because they do sometimes, but
of the top 1,000 apps.
but otherwise I say, yeah, no, this is probably something I could have watched in my own time.
Millions of downloads and need to scale across those 3 billion devices. And here at Google, we love it too, with over 70 apps including Drive, Home, Maps, and Play. Okay, let's talk about Android Jetpack. We took the hardest, most common developer problems and created libraries to ensure your apps are high quality and have backward compatibility. Over 84% of the top 10,000 apps are now using a Jetpack library. And today we're going further. We know that your app performance matters. We're launching Jetpack Macro Benchmark to capture large interactions that affect your app's startup and jank before your app is released. It's now in alpha and is a perfect complement to Firebase performance monitoring for after your app is released. Or persisting data more efficiently with Data Store, a new Kotlin coroutines API now in beta, and first-class support for Jetpack Compose with architecture libraries, and so much more. And now for Jetpack Compose. We started building Compose in the open 2 years ago today here at Google I/O, listening to your feedback to make sure that we really got this right, with over 35 public releases. We took everything that we learned from Jetpack and Kotlin, and we brought it to UI development. Compose is our modern native UI toolkit for Android. Fully declarative for defining UI, so you can build gorgeous apps in way less time. Interoperable with existing Android views, so you don't need to rewrite a single line of code. It works with your existing code base from day one. With the Compose beta, developers around the world have created some truly beautiful, innovative experiences in half the time. I'm blown away by all of these amazing apps built during the Android Dev Challenge. The first challenge was all about puppies, which made for a ton of really cute moments in our team chat. It's inspiring to see the number of developers already working on production apps with Compose like these: the New York Times, Airbnb, Twitter, Lyft, Play. Okay, but enough talk. Now is a good time to hand it to Roman to give you a quick demo to see Compose in action.
Thank you, Karen. Compose makes it a lot easier and also a lot more fun to build beautiful UIs. Today, I would like to show you how you can add Compose to an existing app. So here's an app I wrote using views. I have a recycle view, and when I click on an item, it takes me to the next fragment. I have a nested scroll view, I have a fab, and a bunch of other views. Now I would like to add compose to this screen. So let's take a look at the code. I've already set up a compose view inside my fragment, and I can call set content on it. And that's pretty much it. That's all I need to do to start writing compose code. So we're gonna set up a theme. Then I'm gonna add a list of material cards. And you can see the declarative model of compose in action. It's simple function calls. We don't have complex XML. We don't have complicated layout params. It's much easier than before. And when I rerun the app and we go back to that screen, you will be able to see our compose UI in action. And it interacts naturally with the views around it. Now, here's something interesting. In every card, you can see this physically accurate view of the sky that's computed on the GPU using the selected time and location. It uses a surface view. That means I have views inside compose, inside views. You have full two-way interop. Compose is completely compatible with your existing code and your existing custom views. There's one more thing I would like to show you. The cards are pretty big, and I would like the user to be able to collapse them and expand them. So let's take a look at the code. We are going to add a single line of code around the content.
I will say this UI is just very weird looking still, but yeah.
And now when I rerun the app and I go back to that screen, I can tap on the cards to expand.
Okay, that was actually interesting.
With an animation.
The flash of the home screen there was not Android 12.
Completely compatible with your code.
So,
are a lot easier than before.
yeah. But the UI of the app is definitely Android 12. Huh. Interesting.
Thanks, Ramon. That was really fun. I love how animation is so much easier to do. And every UI component is material by default, so it's easy to build gorgeous UI. Stay tuned for the new Material U components coming later this year for both Compose and Android views. We're building Compose to make sure you're productive, but also promise that it will scale. The API is fully complete.
But yeah, I'm definitely going to end stream after this keynote. I'm going to continue watching some events on my own time because there's a What's New in Android or What's New in Google Play and stuff sessions after this, but
Compose for Wear OS.
But yeah, I'm like,
Enabling all your devices connected to your phone. TVs, cars, watches, tablets to work better together. Let's talk more about building across screens. Starting from our largest screens with tablets, foldables, and Chrome OS, there is huge momentum as people are relying on these devices more to stay connected as family and friends, go to school, or work remotely. There are over 250 million active large screen active devices. Last year, Chrome OS grew 92% year over year, 5 times the rate of the PC market, making Chrome OS the fastest growing and second most popular desktop OS. Android app usage has tripled in the last year. It's so cool to see how apps are taking advantage of the extra space of larger screens. Like Disney Plus, watch how this looks on a Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2. The app makes good use of the front screen, seamlessly transitions to tablet mode, and even makes use of the new Hinge API to tell when the phone is in tabletop mode. We studied how people interact with large screens.
yeah, it's talking about the Galaxy Fold.
And we're giving you APIs and tools to make that experience easier. Like having your content resize automatically to more space.
Also, this is interesting about the big screen thing they're talking about, so I guess I didn't think about that. I was like, oh, they have sessions talking about big screens. Probably means it might revive Android tablets. Nah, it's more like talking about like foldables with like big screens and probably Chromebooks.
And Jetpack Window Manager, so apps work better by default. We're also making it easier for apps and services to access with voice, with the help of the Google Assistant. We heard your feedback. Enabling assistant capabilities with your app is pretty hard, and it isn't part of your normal Android development flow. So using existing Android APIs, we're bringing voice interaction right into Android Studio. With Android shortcuts and a new capabilities API, you can now create voice shortcuts for your apps.
Okay, yeah.
Optimize your widgets.
I was about to say, I'm like, oh, we're bringing voice in Android Studio. I'm like, what? You got to type code your voice?
Allowing your app to show
But no, this makes more sense.
on mobile, or even as a view on Android Auto. Now to our smallest screens, smartwatches. You heard the big updates we had for wearables earlier. A unified wearables platform built jointly with Samsung combining the best of Wear OS and Tizen, a new consumer experience, and a world-class
Okay, yeah.
fitness
I
service.
really wonder what they mean by combining Tizen or whatever.
It means you'll have more reach. You can use all of your existing skills, tools, and APIs that make your mobile apps great to build for a single wearable platform used by people all over the world. And we're bringing the best of Samsung to that unified platform, like Samsung's sensor technology that measures exercise data more accurately with longer battery life. We now have new Jetpack APIs for Wear OS, tailored for small screens and designed to optimize battery life, like the Jetpack Tiles API, so that any developer can create a custom tile for all devices in the Wear ecosystem.
Which, yeah, the tiles, that's 100% Tizen, like, because Tizen's like, oh, you can just swipe or use the bezel and you get all these apps on the side of your lock screen, like mini apps.
We also have a new set of APIs for health and fitness, created in collaboration with Samsung. Data collection from sensors and metric computation is streamlined, consistent, accurate, from data like heart rate to calories to daily distance from a single trusted source. The alpha of the health services platform is available to use today. And all of this comes together with new tooling, with the release of Android Studio Arctic Fox Beta, like easier pairing to test those apps, and even a virtual heart rate sensor in the emulator. And when your app is ready, users will have a much easier time discovering the world of Wear apps on Google Play, with some big updates coming to discoverability. The Wear app ecosystem is growing. We're working with developers like these, Strava, Spotify, Calm, Adidas, to bring richer, more immersive app experiences to the platform. So that's it. It's a great time to get started here. That's our quick recap of the world of Android, including Android 12, all of the latest in modern Android development like Jetpack Compose, and some cool ways we're working with you to bring your experience to new screens. Before I hand it off to Barb, let's hear from our friends at Spotify.
Spotify. Interesting.
The Spotify vision is to connect millions of creators with billions of fans, and we believe that smartwatches is an essential device for us to realize that vision. We've just released our totally new and rebuilt version of the Wear app. Now we're working on the ability to download music and podcasts to your watch. So you can go for a run without the distraction of bringing your phone with you, but still listen to your favorite playlists and podcasts.
So basically the stuff Samsung's always supported on Tizen watches.
More and more important in the future, and we see our investment in Wear as absolutely essential for Spotify.
Also, that watch they showed in the promo video, that almost kind of looked like existing Galaxy Watch.
The open web is grounded on interoperability, accessibility, and choice. Today, I'll share how we're working with you to add new capabilities and innovative approaches that advance what's possible on the web. We'll focus on 3 areas: powerful new capabilities, performance optimizations for fast and seamless sites, and new solutions for user privacy. Together, we've been bringing more advanced features and computing power to the browser, from an array of new APIs to the ongoing evolution of WebAssembly, which lets you run code in the browser at near native speed. One trend that's really stood out in this past year is the browser's emergence as a first-class platform for voice and video apps, because it's so nice to jump right into a meeting without installing anything. And these new features are making these experiences even better. For example, when we couldn't gather in person, WebRTC helped Yahoo enrich the online event experience with live video chat. And WebAssembly's recently added support for
That they had talking about Yahoo.
dramatically reduced CPU overhead for workloads like video processing and streaming, enabling Google Meet to make background blur available to twice as many users. Another visually immersive experience that relies on powerful browser capabilities is 3D mapping. And while Google Maps on the web has been using WebGL to deliver high-quality graphics rendering for years, it wasn't available in the Maps JavaScript API for developers. That changes today with 2 new beta features that allow you to tilt and rotate the map in 3D, while a new WebGL overlay view gives you the ability to render objects directly on the map for the first time, opening a world of new possibilities. Now, if you've been waiting for access to more device functionality, this year we've added a growing number of hardware APIs to Chrome Stable, allowing you to access nearly any device peripheral from your browser. And we're enabling access to the native file system for developers building text, photos,
I'm not.
photos. So
I'm mostly just watching this because I'm curious about the changes.
browser. And meanwhile, simply getting in front of people is something that we know every site cares about. So we've been working to better highlight progressive web apps in the browser to help people install.
The most web development I can do is like some basic HTML, CSS kind of stuff.
And making it easy to list your PWA.
Can't do JavaScript, can't do any native code. So, yeah.
With the Trusted Web Activity API. Plus, you can implement Google Play billing for subscriptions and in-app purchases with the Digital Goods API. All of this work to expand the web's capabilities and reach is empowering more companies to come to the web. Like TikTok, which brought its core experience to the mobile web in 2020 and desktop in 2021. So now people can find and share links to TikTok content.
TikTok.
Web. Or Adobe, which launched its rich Adobe Spark graphics and photo editor on the web to help creators and small businesses searching for a quick and easy creative app, or students doing classroom projects on their Chromebooks. Or e-commerce sites like Rakuten, which built an installable PWA in quick response to a surge in demand for online groceries, for the engagement of an installed app, and the cross-platform reach and efficiency of the web. We love to see developers combine the web's core powers with new capabilities and give us a clear vision of what the web can be. And that vision has to include performance. So we're continuing our work to make Chrome fast for users and developers. Highlights from the past year.
I will say it's definitely something that Google's been pretty good about. But to be honest, probably not even really Google, it's probably more Microsoft's changes, but
A next generation compact image format.
they've actually definitely focused heavily on Chrome the past year for performance, when before it was just like, yeah, no, let's just tack on a bajillion features and it's just gonna keep bloating the browser.
Now supported natively across all modern browsers, with the addition of a simple loading attribute. Of course, our work to build a faster web goes beyond the browser. We also want to help you improve your site's performance. So we examined millions of pages across the web to identify what makes a site feel fast to users. And 3 areas stood out: how fast a site loads, how responsive a site is to user input, and how stable a site is as a user reads it. We published these 3 metrics as the core web vitals to help site owners build the best experiences possible. Core Web Vitals are now integrated across many of our tools like Lighthouse, and we're happy to see Core Web Vitals appear in analytic services like SpeedCurve and on CMS platforms like Wix. And this summer, Core Web Vitals will be added to the search ranking signals used by Google Search, helping users find relevant content that's fast and helping fast sites.
Yeah, that's a pretty good change.
So to see how your site performs and learn how you can improve your Core Web Vitals, check out our measurement tools on web.dev. And finally, let's turn to the important work of improving privacy in the Chrome browser and across the web. In 2019, we kicked off the Privacy Sandbox initiative to develop new privacy-preserving technologies to help the web move away from cross-site user tracking while continuing to support the critical capabilities that keep the web healthy. This requires technical innovation and iteration, working with countless stakeholders across the web. Several of the new Privacy Sandbox APIs are now available for developers to test so that you can evaluate them and share feedback before they roll out to Chrome Stable for broader use. And once the new solutions are in place and working for users and the ecosystem, we plan to phase out third-party cookies in Chrome. We're committed to navigating this transition responsibly. That means continuing to operate transparently every step of the way, sharing proposals, learnings, and progress, listening to your input, and providing meaningful
Yeah, like, AMP, to be honest, like, it works fine, I mean, I don't really necessarily like how it's like cached through Google servers. Like, if you use the AMP on its own without the Google server cache, then it's okay. But it's really something that's just like people should just make better web pages. Like, they shouldn't have to use a walk-around lighter version of the page, you know, just separate from the normal version. They should just make the website better.
Web experiences that people love and that they trust. Next up, it's the Flutter team. It's been great working with them to add web support, and in a minute, you'll hear the latest on Flutter from Zoe.
For these events, I come for knowledge, networking, and to meet fellow developers and see what things can I bring back to my community as well.
Flutter is an open source UI toolkit by Google that empowers developers to build beautiful experiences across multiple platforms. With Flutter, you can use the same codebase to compile apps directly into machine code for Android, iOS, web, desktop, or anywhere that you might want to paint pixels on the screen. It's the first UI platform designed for an ambient computing world. Traditionally, when building apps, the first decision you have to make is, where's my app going to run? With Flutter, you start from the experience you want to create and can ship to any device you want to target. And that's just the beginning. Beyond Google, a global open source community is contributing to Flutter. For example, companies like Toyota, Canonical, Sony, Samsung, and the Microsoft
Interesting.
are all working to bring Flutter to even more devices. Already, there are more than 200,000 apps using Flutter in the Google Play Store like WeChat, My BMW, and Grab. Flutter is used by developers all around the world. For example, ByteDance, the company behind TikTok, is using Flutter in more than 70 apps. Productivity is why they continue to use Flutter. Their engineers say switching to Flutter has allowed them to ship new apps and features 30% faster. Within Google, more than 40 teams choose to build with
Stadia.
productivity also. This includes Google Pay, which unified its codebase with Flutter and went from 2 million lines of code to 1.1 million, reducing it by nearly half. Today, we are excited to announce Flutter 2.2, which builds on this foundation. Here are some highlights. We improved the beta support for Flutter on desktop, so it's even easier for you to target Windows, macOS, and Linux with a single codebase. In this release, we've enabled sound node safety by default for new projects. We're helping developers to eliminate a whole class of errors, increase app performance, and reduce package size. Additionally, building on these enhancements to our developer experience, we've upgraded the Flutter DevTools to help you understand how memory is allocated in your apps. Another major theme in Flutter 2.2 is how we are investing in ways to help connect your apps to the rest of the Google ecosystem. We're launching a new payment plugin with Google Pay. We're updating the Google Mobile Ads SDK for Flutter. We're promoting the in-app purchase plugin to production. We're expanding the Google APIs and cloud services your apps can access. And we're committed to fully supporting Material U when they ship later this year. These are just a few of the updates in Flutter 2.2. Join our What's New in Flutter product keynote, sessions, and collabs for more. One more thing. Here at I/O, we're celebrating by joining forces with Firebase, Google's mobile and web app platform, to create a fun, open source demo showing how easy it is to build a Flutter web app powered by
I love that they have to say partnering with Firebase, because it's their own product.
Flutter.dev to check out the code and grab a photo with our mascot Dash. And with that, it's time to hear more about Firebase with Francis.
Thanks, Zoe. Our mission for Firebase is to empower you to succeed by making it easy to build and run mobile and web apps. Over 3 million apps use Firebase every month. We know you rely on our products like Crashlytics and real-time database throughout your app's lifecycle, and we rely on your feedback to continuously improve our offerings.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're different like segments of the company, but like, it's like it just sounds weird to say you're partnering with yourself essentially.
For your users and keep your users engaged. Firebase's fully managed infrastructure products help you speed up and simplify development.
It'd be like if Apple said, "Oh, our iOS team is partnering with our Mac team," when it's like it's not really something you need to say that you're partnering with when it's expected you work together.
Package solutions that let you quickly add more functionality to your mobile and web apps, like translating text with the Google Cloud Translation API or exporting Firestore collections to BigQuery. And now we're expanding and releasing new extensions with companies you know and trust so you can do even more. Like quickly integrate payments processing.
I see they missed a joke they could have made there. Extensions, they could have said they were extending instead of expanding.
And communicate with your users via MessageBird, all without having to write any code or learn new APIs on your own. So let's say you're an e-commerce app and you want to keep customers informed about the status of their orders. You can use the new MessageBird extension to send triggered messages to your users. It's easy to set up with just a few clicks in the Firebase console. And once it's installed, you can add or update documents in Firestore, and the MessageBird extension will automatically send messages to your customers on channels like messaging apps or SMS. This implementation that normally would have taken days can now be done in hours with Firebase extensions.
Yeah,
Check out extensions now
pretty accurate.
to see how they can help you expand your app's functionality without a lot of additional work. Once your app is live, users expect it to be fast and responsive. Performance monitoring presents mobile and web app performance data, so you know exactly how users are experiencing your app from their point of view. We're pleased to share our...
I mean, yeah, Google definitely doesn't really work together if it wasn't obvious by like them having like 50 different chat apps, because clearly none of the teams are working with each other and what they're doing. But it still just sounds weird to specifically say you're partnering, like the keyword there being the partner thing. It's like just say, oh, maybe we're working with the other team, but you don't really say partnering because that implies you're, you know, working with like an outside company.
The new comprehensive trace table lets you compare trends across your metrics and zero in on the biggest changes that need your immediate attention, like a network call that's been running slower than before. This is in addition to the customizable metrics you can select to appear right at the top of the dashboard. So if you want to keep an eye out on the performance of a new API call you've just added, or make sure a network request isn't too slow, you can track that front and center right in the dashboard. Get started with performance monitoring today to ensure your users experience the best version of your app. Another challenge you can turn to Firebase to help you solve is user engagement. And that's where Firebase Remote Config comes in. Remote Config lets you update the behavior and appearance of your app for different audience segments without releasing a new version. This lets you run A/B tests, roll out new features, or push custom experiences to groups of users, all from the Firebase console. Now, while A/B tests are a great tool, it can take some time and expertise to set up, run, analyze, and roll out the results. And that's why we're launching a new feature called personalization, which uses the power of Google's machine learning to automatically deliver the best experience to each of your users individually. Setup is simple, and personalization starts to deliver optimized experiences within hours. Best of all, you don't need to manually analyze the results and pick a single winning experience to roll out. So let's say you're a game developer and you want to balance the difficulty of your game to keep users engaged. With personalization, you can set up different options and then ask Firebase to figure out the rest for you. Personalization automatically learns which types of users respond best to which difficulty settings. It then assigns each user the right sets of value to maximize their enjoyment, whether they are a more casual player or prefer more of a challenge. To get ready for personalization, install the Remote Config SDK today. And if you want to test out personalization right now, just join our alpha program, where you can get early access to it. With every improvement to Firebase, we aim to take away the hard work for you so you can focus on delivering the amazing experiences that people rely on every day. Now, I'll pass it over to Kamal to share more updates on machine learning.
I like to meet other people in the community who are in the same circles I'm in, and we're focused on the same things.
Yeah, I wonder how much more they're gonna talk about, considering there is only like 5 minutes left.
We've seen in many ways AI is making our products more helpful in people's daily lives.
I mean, unless they're going an additional like
by developers just like you.
20 or something, because they didn't start till 15.
But machine learning is evolving at an incredible pace with new algorithms, hardware, data sets, new use cases. We don't expect you to be an ML expert. Instead, we built our platform so you don't have to be. So today I'm going to show you how, with no ML expertise required, you can build these experiences on the platforms that you care about, whether it's on mobile, the web, or in the cloud. Say you're a mobile developer and you have an idea for a new app that reacts to different sounds in your environment, like traffic or bird songs or music. How would you build this app? The first step is to look for existing models. On TensorFlow Hub, you can find hundreds of pre-trained models for video, image, text, speech, and audio. Here, you will need an audio model, and this one by Google can recognize a variety of different sounds. The next step is to build this model into your app. To make it easy to integrate a model into your Android app, we've provided the TensorFlow Lite task library, which gives you simple APIs and data structures that work in the language you use. This allows you to go from all this code to this. Finally, to recognize your own sounds, you will need to customize your model. Building your own model can be time-consuming. It requires taking several steps, like loading your own data, labeling it, defining features, and more. TensorFlow Lite Model Maker automates these steps for popular use cases, allowing you to take a state-of-the-art model and customize it using your own data set with only a few lines of code. As you can see, in just 3 simple steps and no ML experience, you can build an app that recognizes any specific sound around you. And that's just one example. You can go wherever inspiration takes you. The web is another area where we're making it easier to build AI applications. JavaScript is one of the world's most popular languages with millions of developers. TensorFlow.js, our JavaScript library, lets you build AI experiences in your website without having to install a single SDK. It runs directly in the browser, and all you need to do is reference it in your code, include the model as a JSON file, and you're good to go. Let's take a look at an example. Imagine you want to detect spam in user comments. Bots can generate a lot of spam. By capturing it directly in the browser, you can save on server costs and improve user experience. A use case like this requires a text model that's been trained with existing comments. Luckily, TensorFlow Hub also offers a text model you can start with. And you can test this one directly in your browser before even including it in your web app. Now, not all comment spam is the same, and you might have specific examples for your community. To customize your model, you can use TensorFlow Lite Model Maker again.
I love how the example they use there is visit my website to learn how to make millions, because I've seen that on so many websites here recently.
Code through the browser.
It's like if there's a spam comment in a website, it's either porn or it's making millions of dollars.
Spam detection model much faster. ML in the browser opens up many new exciting use cases for millions of web developers. For example, you can now use the entire collection of TensorFlow Lite models with TensorFlow.js, so they can directly be used on the web, no conversion required. And the new
Better
API is compatible with TensorFlow Lite for microcontrollers, so you can deploy models to a tiny board directly from your browser without installing software. As you can see, whether you're a mobile or web developer, you don't have to be an ML expert to start building these experiences. To help you get started, we've created a new on-device machine learning site with learning pathways and turnkey solutions where you can learn how to build common apps like the mobile and web examples I just shared. These tools are available open source and complement our set of cloud AI products, which support every type of ML developers. But we know that it can be frustrating to juggle with the various tools, frameworks, and platforms. This can make it difficult to manage your models efficiently. To solve this, we have an exciting announcement. I'd like to introduce Vertex AI, a new managed machine learning platform that is built off of our experience in creating machine learning tools. It incorporates new features that let you experiment and deploy faster while simplifying model management. Let's revisit our comment spam example using data from BigQuery. First, with Vertex AI, we don't need to build a model ourselves. AutoML can take care of that for us. No code is required. Just press the train button and AutoML will search state-of-the-art models, customize them to build just the right one for you completely
Interesting.
Of course, you can also bring your own ML code written in popular frameworks like TensorFlow and use Vertex AI to train faster at scale. Next, Vertex makes it easy to understand and test our model. Here we can see a solid accuracy improvement, and we can use feature importance to tell us which inputs our model relies on most to make its predictions, giving you more transparency. Here, the comment text is the biggest indicator of whether our model marked it as spam. We can also easily test the model in the console. For this example, our model is 99.8% confident that this model is spam. So we have a great model, but we're not done. In reality, we will need to keep iterating on this model. We need to make sure new comments are classified correctly. And if spammers adapt, we should update our model by retraining it on new data, evaluate it, and redeploy it. This can be a lot of work. To automate this process, Vertex AI includes Vertex Pipelines, a new feature that helps you manage your models in production by letting you define and launch pipelines using Kubeflow or TensorFlow Extended. This is what our spam detection example looks like. With the output generated from each step, you can track the artifacts across the whole process. This makes it really easy to have Vertex AI automatically retrain your model on new spam data and redeploy it only if your quality targets are met. And we've already seen some great use cases from our beta partners. For example, Portal Telemedicina, a Brazilian healthcare startup, used Vertex AI and its model validation features to scan thousands of ECGs for heart problems across Brazil and Africa, helping doctors better detect and triage high-risk patients. We can't wait to see what you build with Vertex AI. Check out our resources or get started by going to your Google Cloud Console. Many of you have made our AI tools what they are today. And on behalf of the ML teams at Google, thank you. What inspires me the most is seeing what you do with these new tools in your hands. Whether it's on your phone or your browser or on tiny devices, we are amazed by
This explanation. Updated to the Android 12 beta on my Pixel. I'm really not seeing almost any of the home screen changes that they showed. I wonder if that's not coming until a later Pixel launcher update.
Now I'd like to turn it back over to Jason.
Of course, there's the new navigation shade and stuff, but
You can build and build and build.
and lock screen, but that's like it. None of the like color changing palette stuff or yeah.
The things you can do with machine learning are truly incredible. Some of the most exciting examples I've seen recently have been through the work we're doing with startups around tackling.
Yeah, there's not a single app update. I checked.
In the past 2 years, we've supported dozens of sustainability-focused startups in Japan and Europe. And we recently launched our first accelerator.
Maybe they'll later today, I guess. You know.
11 startups use machine learning to tackle big challenges, from creating carbon-negative concrete to making everything from office buildings to pet food more sustainable. These are companies like Yardstick, who saw there was a huge opportunity to store CO2 from the atmosphere into the soil and decided to build the tools that were needed to measure it. They're using Google Maps, TensorFlow, and our compute platforms to allow instant carbon level testing.
But I mean, oh well. To be honest, I probably wouldn't have seen the changes really anyway because I don't use Pixel Launcher by default. So I would check it, see the new changes, and then just not even see it again.
Together can be such a powerful force. And that's what makes moments like I.O. so special. While you're here, we encourage you to visit the Community Lounge to find and join the community group that's right for you. Now, we've covered a lot of ground today, but there's more our team wants to share with you. One of the benefits of a virtual I.O. is that you can check out...
I mean, they did say it's not coming until the Pixel devices in the fall, so maybe they mean not even with the beta.
So I encourage you to step outside of your comfort zone and explore something new. For developers interested in emerging platforms, we have updates from AR Core about new APIs and information on the new industry-wide Matter initiative for the smart home. We also have updates from the ads team, Google Pay, and others, as well as sessions and code labs to get you started on everything you've heard about today. And we've created I.O. Adventure, which is an interactive environment where you can visit product domes, play with interactive demos, and chat with attendees. You can also hear directly from the experts with 26 live Ask Me Anything sessions with Googlers you know and love. We're here to support you as you build your next amazing products. This year has shown us so much, how interconnected we are, how resilient we are, and how powerful we are.
Apparently in settings there's a new passwords and accounts option. Clicking it just crashes the settings app.
So enjoy I.O. Connect with each other, learn new things, invest in yourself and in the community. I can't wait to see what you
Wonder if that needs an app update to get working.
soon. Thank you.
Oh. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here because I'm gonna watch like the what's new sessions on my own, but I just want to stream the keynotes. So yeah. Yep. Thank you for watching. Yeah, why does the music thing never play correctly? I mean, it says playing, but it's not playing in my earbuds when it's supposed to. See if I can find somebody to raid here. Or if I'm just gonna not bother. Yeah, to be honest, it doesn't look like there's really anybody live. So, yeah, I guess I'll just go ahead and end it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in a future stream.